Kal-El, what up, man? You'll have to excuse my lack of enthusiasm. I am dealing with a banger today, but I'm here. It's 8 o'clock.
333 RIPP Don P PhD. Yo. I said RIP TV. Tell the homie. Mob Deep Mondays, that's everyday, thoughty. It's all for the community. That's what P showed me. We lost without the unity. Where the fuck is the OGs? RIPP. God bless the real. Only for the righteous. The rest will go to hell. Flipping through the book of Revelation, figure it out. Transliterate the translation, do it yourself. It's the last days, life is a test and we in a cage. Concrete jungle, everyday struggle. Fuck the pain, I'm on some HNIC shit. Hegelian 3 shit. If you don't know what I mean, you was never G. Real shit, R.I.P. Yo, P, play that beat back, 333. Burn some weed, repeat that. Shake me up a tuka pack, break me off a 20 piece. I'm gone, never looking back. Y'all can't talk to me. RIP TV, tell the homie. Mob Deep Mondays, that's everyday, thoughty. It's all for the community. That's what P showed me. We lost without the unity. Where the fuck is the OGs? Like the weed, play some IMD for me. It's hell on earth for real, but y'all don't wanna see paper trail politics. All the shit was prophecy, strictly for the family. Peace to the prodigy. RIPP, I sleep when it's time for me. Dope dreams bring the skizzy, pour the Hennessy. Searching for some inner peace, couple hundred G's. Deadly weapons and some weed just for you and me. RIPP, I sleep when it's time for me. Dope dreams bring the skizzy, pour the Hennessy. Searching for some inner peace, couple hundred G's. Deadly weapons and some weed just for you and me. Yo.
Yo, what up, son?
Yo.
You'll have to excuse my lack of enthusiasm today. You're going to have to shoulder the burden. I am dealing with a banger. I would rank this the 7th worst migraine I've ever had in my 40 years. Woo. When you deal with cluster headaches and migraines, people, you can rank them. You'll remember your top 10. They're very memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm out of the pain center. That was 4 a.m. till about 5:30 this afternoon of fetal position, throwing up, cold sweats, all that shit. And now I just, my 168 IQ is probably 68 at this moment.
I'm surprised you have the lights on that high.
Well, I mean, you can't see shit if I don't have it on. So, I'm just going to thug it out for the people.
You didn't want to Ray Charles that thing?
I can't find my fucking sunglasses, yo. I do a lot of squinting anyway because I'm always high, so I'll battle through it, yo. My senior year, the first round playoff game, I had a fucking migraine.
Ooh.
So
not the game you want to have a migraine in.
Roger Harper, what up, homie? So it's crazy because before the game, Carrie, I pulled the coach aside and I was just like, I told him the scenario. Like, all right, listen, this is what the scenario is. Don't tell anyone.
Right.
Roger Harper, what up, homie?
Hey, what up, Joe? What up, Kerry? How you guys doing today?
Roger.
Chilling, man. So just talking about this migraine that I'm dealing with today. And how my senior year, our first round playoff game, I played with a migraine. And a la Terrell Davis, but I did not have 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. I can guarantee you that shit. I told the coach before the game, don't tell, even on our own team, don't tell anyone. I don't want them to be like, oh, shit. And our quarterback didn't even know until years later when I told him. He's like, I wonder why we didn't throw the ball down the field once that entire fucking game. So I had 2 catches for -3 yards. That's how productive I was that game. But the other team didn't know. So they still had to focus on me, and then on defense, whoever I was covering, that quarterback literally did not even attempt to throw it at this guy, which if he would have noticed my body language, I was a step slow all game. So here's the funny thing before I move on from this nonsense. At halftime, we went in, and I remember going straight into the shower room in the locker room, and the coaches are having a meeting, and I literally took off my helmet, and I laid face first with my face on the shower drain and just threw up the entire halftime. And then when I just told our middle linebacker, Brandon Cufford, the only person who knew I had a migraine, I was like, yo, whenever it's time to go out for the second half, just come get me, dude. And he came and just picked me up off the ground. Literally, was just like, all right, time to go. I mean, we won. So Roger Harper, I want to ask you, amidst this migraine that I'm dealing with right now, because I did have 15 concussions on the football field. How's your football head?
I have some headaches here and there, some memory loss. I don't know if it's due to my activities that I'm doing now, but, I have some memory adjustments I have to do sometime. I asked my sons, damn, who got a call? Or, damn, where we going? Or, I might miss an exit or two, but, I'm still here.
Yeah, you have good days and bad days, right? Some days you just a little bit slower, the brain is just not as crisp, and you're like, wait a minute, I didn't even smoke yet today. What the fuck is going on, man?
You're right.
You know what I always tell everybody, though? I don't care. I wouldn't have traded it for nothing. You could have told me in the beginning, all right, when you're 40, your head's going to hurt a lot all the time and shit, but up until then, it's going to be fucking awesome. Yeah, let's do this. Who cares?
Yeah, same here. The relationships and the people that you meet, playing football, I'm still riding those coattails and enjoying it. At age 50, I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I would not be making rap music if I didn't go to college to play football. It's a very twisted, winding road.
I mean, you meet lifers. You sacrifice together, go through that tough shit together, bonded. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't as tough as it used to be.
well,
Nah.
well, yeah.
I think 3-a-days are literally illegal now. Like, that's not happening.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because I can't think about it a different way.
I know.
Nothing else. And what was funny is, you guys remember, your scheduled water breaks during these 3-a-days. It's not whenever you're thirsty or dehydrated or throwing up or passing out or anything. It's, in 2 hours you'll get a 10-minute water break, guys.
And you get that hose that's been sitting in mud and manure for the last 3 hours
in the sun. So the
shit water, it's just baked into that hose. So you're drinking shit water and you don't even care.
You don't even care. It tastes like rubber and it's hot, and you could care less.
Yeah,
Sure.
So, what'd you guys think about this weekend? I mean, honestly, it went exactly as planned. Outside of Patrick Mahomes ruining my fantasy weekend, Kerry, I was winning the goddamn room until he got hurt, and I knew it was over after that.
Called every game.
Yeah.
Bang. And even broke down the Packers game exactly how it went. I said the Aaron we got to look for is Aaron Jones, and Lazard is probably going to score. Lazard got busy. Aaron Jones got busy.
Well, I mean,
that was easy to see, though.
That was easy because you got Jalen Ramsey covering Devontae Adams. So
but Adams still scored a touchdown.
Well, he's the best receiver in football. Like, it's going to happen.
Exactly.
Randy Moss still shook Darrelle Revis at the line and then one-handed him in the end zone. So, like, even the greats get got by other greats.
Yeah. I remember when Dion, he was on the Washington football team at this time, and Marvin Harrison caught him. It was a Monday night game. And I just remember the moment catching that because I had never seen Dion get caught so badly. And I was like, wow, it really does happen to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Father Time waits on nobody. Father Time waits on nobody.
Well,
we played probably 4 or 5 times Dion getting caught. I remember that game specifically.
Oh, yeah. So you know what I'm talking about. And I was like, damn.
Yeah, Kerry, you got to remember, Roger Harper called Dion after the game. Was just like, yo, man, you got caught like 4 or 5 times today. What the fuck, yo?
Yeah, clearly Green Bay totally it dominated the game. Rams defense tried to come through.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Aaron Donald having a torn cartilage in his rib, he was literally. I realize half of Aaron Donald is still better than his backup, but that wrecks the Rams' entire defense when he's hurt.
Exactly. Aaron Rodgers throwing for almost 300 yards. Again, like you said, carry Aaron Jones, 100 yards, almost 100 yards rushing, and Jamal Williams, the backup running back. Actually, have 3 running backs that.
Yeah, Dylan's getting time now.
Well, I think the smartest decision on the weekend was to take advantage of Aaron Donald being hurt because the Packers came out. You have the quarterback he's played the best he's ever played, and it's a general consensus that he's the best thrower of the football we've ever seen. So he is at peak, and they ran the ball right at Aaron Donald until he was done, and until the Rams started putting him on the sideline, and then he started throwing. Genius.
They could have done. Yep, absolutely.
And you're right, Roger. They used all 3 of them. They're like, no, we're running. We're just going to get him completely out of the game and demoralize them.
Oh, in that cold-ass weather, too, you have an injury like that, and you keep getting banged into, that is terrible.
Yo, so, Roger, how many times do you think Aaron Donald, even though he's universally lauded and praised by his peers, how many rib shots did he take during the first quarter, during those dust-ups?
They talked about it before the game, injuries, and that's what they do. They know you got an injury, they're going to attack until you eventually wore him down, like you said.
Yeah,
they just couldn't handle it. Again, even though he has some decent backups, some good backups that probably could start other teams. It's still not Aaron Donaldson.
Yeah, the game went pretty well to be expected, especially given the Rams' injuries on offense leading into this game. It was just like, oh man, the Packers are just got it set up. And Jared Goff playing in cold weather with a broken thumb. Seriously, how hard was that? That's tough.
But I have to say, man, this kid, Sam Akers, he's still coming through. It was tough for him with injuries earlier on in the season, and I was kind of shaky on where he would be, especially since their third string, Darrell Henderson Jr. was getting off. I was like, Sam Akers may not see his job again. I don't know. But then he kind of got banged up, and he snatched back with the card.
Akers gave him a chance for some of those runs, but again, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, it just wasn't enough because they needed to throw at when the time came when they needed to throw, they couldn't get it done.
All right, Roger, let me ask you something at the NFL level because I am just assuming that it's more of a next man up the higher up you get in the skill set. So, like in high school, somebody gets hurt. It's like, oh, shit, we're done. College, somebody gets hurt. It's just like, all right, we got all these people here for a reason. Somebody young's going to have to let's see what they got. The NFL, it is literally next man up. Let's go.
Exactly.
No time to waste. Is it really like that? Is just everybody so focused, nobody has ever like, oh, shit.
Yeah, it's literally next man up. I mean, you might it's like work. You go to work and after work, you really don't socialize or hang out. I mean, we did some of the guys. Like I said, I had some guys that I was really cool with, but then, your backup might not, want to hang out with you because he wants your position. You know what I'm saying? So it's next man up, man. And like you said, each level, high school, it's like, damn, we lost our best player. Let's see what we're gonna do. College, it's basically at Ohio State is next man up again. So,
yeah.
Same thing. It's just what have you done for me lately? So that's what it's all about.
All right, so
at smaller schools, it'll be like high school too, because if you lose your stud running back, you're done.
It's like, oh shit, what do we do now? I mean, even in Division II, my sophomore year, our quarterback, I think he threw for like 4,000 yards or something, and he was a senior, so just the drop-off to the next year of whoever was next.
I mean, think about it. Steve McNair gets hurt at Alcorn State. Who was his backup quarterback?
Exactly.
No one ever knew.
So what's it like when in the NFL when somebody big does get hurt, though? Because Patrick Mahomes got hurt in a really, really weird way. It wasn't a head-to-head collision, and his head didn't actually hit the ground that hard. What they're saying happened is a spinal concussion because it just compressed his spine really quick, and that's why he was all wobbly and whatnot.
It was kind of like an MMA chokeout.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He snuck a little choke in there at the end. I seen him how he wrapped the neck and kind of knocked him out. Lost his. He got a concussion. I mean,
his wind supply got cut off real quick.
Exactly.
Well, you guys all know medically, if somebody hits your carotid artery like in the right spot, they'll just pass out immediately. And he didn't do that intentionally. He's just trying to make the play, but it looked like it was one of those like.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now here's the only thing. The NFL is going to do everything within their power to get Patrick Mahomes on the field. Guaranteed. Like, this is the face of the NFL in the playoffs. Like, let's be serious. Nobody's tuning in to watch Chad Henne play quarterback. I don't care. Even though he balled out, he did his thing. Nobody's paying.
Listen, that Henne was smooth at the end, right? When it needed to be.
Yo, anything is possible is all you have to say. So,
but what they'll do is that'll be part of the game plan. They won't let the opposing team know what's really going on with Mahomes. They'll keep him on the back burner and play like Henne might potentially be playing, but it's up in the air right now. What's going on with Mahomes because of the concussion protocol, and we'll just have to wait and see like everybody else.
Well, there is one fortunate thing that happened, and it's not fortunate, but excuse me. A precedence has been set for this particular injury. No, I don't watch any other sports. I'm too busy to do anything except some Sunday time, right? But Sidney Crosby, who's generally regarded as the best hockey player on the planet, missed almost a year and a half. What they said was concussion conditions because he did smack his head off the ice off a hard hit. What he actually had was a spinal concussion. And they were treating it like he had a concussion the entire time. And then they couldn't figure out. But once they figured out it was a spinal concussion, they were able to, a couple weeks, bam, you're back on the ice. Now, we don't know how long this is going to affect Patrick Mahomes. Like, this is different. You can't just throw some Toradol in the spine. Like, this, this is a little bit different. Nice, what up? What the hell are you even doing, Nice?
I'm here, baby. I'm here.
Are you? Oh, look at you! Look like a super villain. Is this a fucking?
I'm driving right now. It's really dark where I'm at. I'm actually leaving Havoc's house.
Yeah, no, I saw the IG with Fly, you and Hav in the lab.
Yeah. We working. He lives in the mountains right now, so it's really dark.
Yo, son, you got to shoot a rap video with this angle in this red thing you got going on. This shit is menacing, son.
Yeah. This thing is real dark right now. It's real dark.
Yo, so Nice. Say what up to Roger Harper, our resident NFL expert.
Oh, what's up, man?
What up, Nice? Pleasure meeting you, son.
Yes. Pleasure meeting you too. Although you can't see me, but it's a pleasure.
It's all good. I see the super villain in the back with the red background. It's all good.
Yeah. Roger's heard your voice on a track once or twice before. You already know Nice, but Nice. Roger played for the Falcons, the Cowboys with Deion, Troy, Michael.
Legendary.
Yeah. No, we got a bona fide NFL vet on the squad now, so we got some certified. We got actual insider knowledge, which I love because I get to pepper Roger Harper with a million questions. I hope he doesn't get annoyed because everybody wants to. It's just like everybody wants to know. Nice, everybody wants to know what it's like in the studio. Well, fuck, I want to know what it's like in the NFL.
Yeah. Of course. That's legendary. You can't put that on that.
You are driving in the mountains. That's
real legendary.
So Nice.
Yes, I'm in the mountains right now.
Yeah, I can see. Also, it's. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Charlie Murphy skit on Chappelle's show. Carrie, you already know where I'm going with this one because all I can see is eyes and teeth right now. Nice. The trade is coming through the tunnel.
Yes. That's it, man. That's all you can see right now.
Yo, so nice.
Until I get out of here.
Nice. What'd you think about this weekend?
It was pretty interesting. It's really interesting with Pat Mahomes right now. Very interesting. It pretty much tipped the scale on a lot of things right now. I knew Buffalo was gonna win that game. We all knew that pretty much. But this right here is really a big hit for the NFL world because he might not play, and that's a major hit if he don't play.
Well,
So
compounded on top of his spinal concussion, very little mention has been made about his toe injury because this guy's been limping for like the last game and a half and not able to fully step in his throws. But this major injury now is taking everyone's focus. So even if he does come back, how effective do you think he's actually going to be?
Not as effective, but just enough so that they can win the game. It will be just enough for them to win if he do plays, because it's an intimidation factor, But I don't know. It's really not looking good.
So,
and if he don't play, it's over.
So Roger, if you were in the defensive meeting room this week, knowing that he really can't step into his throws and he's less of a threat to actually take off because he is dangerous with his legs. He does get a lot of first downs, and statistically, he averages the longest carries or yards per carry on third down of anybody in the league, which is a big deal. So how would you just start sending people at him?
Well, if he plays, you definitely put some pressure on him because he's not going to be if he's not 100%. But you still game plan during the week as if he's going to play because his backup is not him. But you definitely want to prepare for Mahomes as if he's going to play. Like I said, this is part of the game plan with Kansas City Chiefs to keep Mahomes on the back burner just in case he does come back for the game. It'll keep the opposing team on edge. But again, the opposing team still needs to prepare as if Patrick Mahomes is going to play because this game right here, I'm sure Patrick Mahomes wouldn't want to miss this game for nothing in the world.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I mean, if I'm the Bills, I'm preparing strictly like Patrick's going to play. The tape is out on Chad Henne. Chad Henne can't show me any different than he's shown me in previous years. I'm not worried about Chad Henne. I'm focused.
Oh yeah, Chad Henne is finished.
And if Chad Henne comes in, I know we got the book on Chad Henne. So
well, I think Kerry, I texted. I don't know if I texted you. My headache's got my memory a little bit foggy. I don't know. I don't know who it was, but I remember texting somebody that when Henne went in, I said, you know what? He still has Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Like he's an NFL quarterback who still has 2 all-pro weapons and multiple other weapons. So, like, they're not done.
Former starter.
Yeah, but
Michigan, he has pedigree. You know what I mean? He's not a sucker out there.
I mean, nice. This was a playoff game, and when he did go in, outside of that stupid interception that he threw in like it was a punt into the end zone, all he had to do every third down, where's Kelce at? I'm going to hit him, and where's Tyreek at? I'm going to hit him. And
the most key one was when he ran, when he got all those yards and made it Yeah. So it was like where he needed like 14 yards, and he
got 13 and a half, and then
back to first down.
So Roger, did you think that they were actually going to snap the ball on that 4th and short, and then run that play?
I didn't think they were going to snap. I thought they were going to let the clock go down, but that was a crucial play right there as well.
That is
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, with a backup quarterback in.
Yeah.
On your 40, that's a ballsy play.
That was Belichickian.
Yes, it was.
That was hoodie styley all the way.
Yeah, you know what though, Kerry? It was successful though, and that was the difference.
But it was successful though. That's what it looked like. Andy Reid is like, that's what that looks like.
Now, nice. I was kind of disappointed when the Chiefs actually won, because for the football world, having the Bills and Browns play for a chance to go to the Super Bowl, I think the earth might have stopped rotating.
Yeah, it would have been nice, but I mean, we know reality is when it comes down to it, the Browns were just inexperienced at that point in time. That's pretty much what it was. They were very very inexperienced. So we figured that was gonna happen.
They played
I
better.
mean,
They played better than I thought they were going to. I thought that Pittsburgh
yeah,
game was their Super Bowl, and there was going to be a huge letdown after that.
And I have to say, if there was a
yeah, no,
quarter,
no.
if there was another quarter, KC would have been in trouble because the Browns kept coming. They didn't stop coming.
Yeah, the Browns
getting that
see,
crucial first down. They needed to, and Andy Reid doesn't make that call unless he feels like Cleveland has momentum on their side.
Exactly.
You don't do that unless you feel like if these guys get the ball back, they may score and beat us. So
the the Browns is your old fashioned smash mouth football team. They play balanced football, so they're always gonna be in a situation of where they're gonna be in the game, but you know, experience also plays. And that's why, hence, Tom Brady plays so great under pressure because he's been there so many times. So it's not really a problem when it's really time to when it really gets down to it.
All right, so let
The
me ask.
Browns never been in that position before, so
Let me
I
ask
knew it was
you.
gonna happen.
Let me ask you guys this. So that this has always been a contentious point with fans, and they always say that they don't know how to fix it. I have a few options that are pretty fucking easy. Though, when the offensive player fumbles through the end zone and it gets touched by nobody, the fact that it's a turnover and a touchback, not only does the defense get the ball, but they get it at the fucking 20, is it's a little bit. I think the penalty is a little bit much. So,
Yeah.
what do? Do you give them the ball, the offensive team the ball back at the spot of the fumble if nobody touched it, like you would if it went out of bounds? I just don't understand why it going out of bounds through the end zone is so different than it going out of bounds when nobody touches it.
Yeah, I never liked that call. I'm never a fan of that call. I never knew why they made that a rule. It doesn't make any sense, really, when you really break it down. It really doesn't make any sense.
So, Roger,
But-
I had another idea. If they don't want to just give it to them right there, since they're so into touchbacks, if the offensive player fumbles it through the end zone and it's untouched by a defensive player after it's been fumbled, then they should go back to the 20.
Yeah.
You saying to the team that fumbled the ball through the end zone?
Yeah.
You saying they should get the ball back at the 20?
Yeah, if there's no clear fumble, instead of giving it to him at the spot like you would. So if the guy fumbles it at the 5-yard line and it kind of caroms out of bounds at the 1, it goes back to the 5. But if it goes one more yard and goes out of bounds, it's a turnover and at the 20 for the other team. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is a huge difference. That call again, I'm not a referee. I don't understand that call as well, but that's just a mistake. If the offense fumbles before getting in that end zone, it's just it's a turnover.
So, Kerry,
Listen, to point on that, listen, if you try to get in my crib and you fuck that up and you fumble a crowbar through the back of the end zone or however you try to get in my crib, you're a bad motherfucker. Now I'm bringing them families out and teaching your ass a lesson. So yeah, the 20 is getting off easy. So yeah, no. Trying to get in my crib.
Well, so
no.
So, I mean, the only other point that I would bring up is the Patriots actually teach and train for this moment. You will never see a Patriots offensive player reach for the ball, reach for the end zone, ever. It is drilled into their head because that happens so often. And the other part about that play is Nick Sorensen absolutely smashed that Rashard Higgins right in the side of the head with the top of his helmet.
Yep.
Now,
thought
a lot of people are pointing that out, but they were both diving at the same
I know.
time.
I
mean, it's not targeting, and he was trying to get lower than the offensive player, which is what you're taught.
Yeah,
They were making a big deal about it. I didn't see it that way.
I was in a room with a room full of Browns fans. They wanted that targeting call so bad, but like you said, Kerry, guys are going. His head actually hit him in the shoulder. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And they thought it should have been a targeting, but it was not.
Well, I don't think
I understand why, but
I don't think you can actually call targeting unless there's no intent. If there's intent, you have to call it. If there's no intent and it's just the physics of humans gaining leverage, you can't fucking call it. It's football is a.
We know the players in this league who still headhunt.
Yeah, no, I mean football is a game of leverage, so you can't try to take leverage out of it.
Come on, man. Come on.
Yep. Agreed.
So, Rams and Packers, that was an easy one. Ravens and Bills. Boy, did the weather fuck that game up. Jesus. That was tough to watch.
Well, I mean, and what did we say though? I mean,
Josh Allen and Stephon
when it
Diggs.
comes to throwing the rock, yeah, I gotta trust Josh more than I trust Lamar, and I love Lamar, but and then you have Diggs. I mean, an all-pro receiver who clearly has shown cannot be stopped. So I mean, it was kind of easy to see that, but
the changing point of the game to me was Tavon Johnson with that 99-yard interception.
101.
101, okay.
Yeah.
The longest interception return in playoff history.
Yeah. Next to our man, George Teague?
Yep. George Teague made a mind. Yep.
George Teague and the greatest singular momentum play in NFL history, James Harrison, 100 yards against Arizona in the Super Bowl, which still baffles me that he was able to do that.
In the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, that game was really ugly.
Yeah.
Those you could see it. The punts were getting caught up in the air. The goalposts were actually moving, let alone the flags. Yeah. And then every ball that was thrown in the one direction all went and just got blown to the right.
Yep.
I mean, when you have statistically the greatest kicker who's played miss the way he missed in that game, he doesn't miss
twice.
He doesn't miss when it comes to field goals at that range. He does not.
And the one that he made, he almost missed that one too. It almost went out.
That one too. You see his face. He's like, "What is this?" It's like, I've never encountered wind like this before in my life. This doesn't happen to me. You look at his face, he's confused. He's like, what?
Well, so for those who don't understand, as a golfer, I could tell you when there are wind gusts that fast, it's not constant. So you can't just adjust for a constant wind. It's in and out. So it might be dead the second you kick it and then just whoop, which was happening.
Josh Allen, who we know has one of the strongest arms in the league, his arm couldn't even really slice through it when it got down to a certain distance. I mean, short, he was accurate, but when it got down a little further, you can't maintain accuracy in that. So you had to run the ball. And props to Devin Singletary. I don't know where Moss was. I don't know if he's hurt or what, but he carried the load for them, and he normally splits carries with Moss. So I give props to him because he came through for that Bills running squad against a tough Ravens defense.
Yeah, no, I was surprised that I'm not really surprised. The NFL is built for offense, so even with those Ravens quarters, Stephon Diggs is going to get busy. You can't stop him. He's proved, and it looks like him and Josh Allen are in like they're college roommates or something. They are really close with each other.
Yeah, they're like connected at the head right now. The way they're playing right now. They're completely connected at the brain. They are really in sync, and it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to beat them, but you always got to go with experience if Mahomes plays.
True, but you know what, Kerry? The emergence of Davis in Buffalo, that third receiver, that really helps.
Yeah.
He's been getting busy down the stretch.
Devontae Davis, he's been showing up all season long. He's just been getting key touchdowns. in key games.
Yeah.
Like, he's 19. Who is this Davis kid?
He's their Bob Ori. He shows up when it counts the most.
Shows up. Yes, he does.
Yeah, so I mean, it was just an ugly, ugly game. I don't understand why.
It ended ugly too.
I don't know why Baltimore literally just didn't go into a T-bone or a wishbone and just run it literally every fucking play.
Yeah, I mean, it would have really served him well. I mean, in a game like this, I say dust off Mark Ingram too. You need all the backs on deck at this point.
You know, they actually, speaking of Mark Ingram, they cut him after the game. He's done. He's done in Baltimore.
That's why they didn't put him in. They didn't want him to get damaged. That's why they didn't put his ass.
It wasn't the damage. I bet you there was like incentive that he could have reached within his contract. And Roger, you know how that goes. You better put that motherfucker on the bench. He's not getting this. He's not getting his incentives. God damn it.
Yeah, exactly. They want to keep all their money.
Yeah, of course. So
just for them to go out that with Lamar with the concussion. I mean, and to think about it, the cat who came in, he had a wide open Brown streaking down. I mean, they get that touchdown. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? That you know how the almighty Mo works. We know how it works.
I don't know who that kid is that came in. I don't remember his name.
Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, Huntley from Utah. He looked impressive.
He looked just like Jackson to me.
Yeah, but I thought he had a better looking arm. His throws looked better. They looked more NFL.
Well, he had that zip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jackson kind of floats it. He's got a big arm. He can get it down the field, but he doesn't have that flick of the wrist.
Yeah, Lamar is more of a sidearm.
Yeah.
He does a sidearm sort of thing. But yeah, Huntley gets on over top of the ball when he throws it, and so it's usually going to be. He was nervous, so balls were sailing, but you could see if he gets more time, those balls will come down because they were accurate. They just were a little high, but they were on point on the receiver.
Yeah, so, I mean, I wanted the Bills to win anyway. That's way more exciting. Yo, if it's not windy, the Bills will literally, it's like they're playing Madden. They might run the ball twice the entire game. It's hilarious. And you know it. They're just like, yeah, we don't run the ball, whatever. Stop us.
And when we do, we're going to get chunk yards because you're not ready. And also, Devin Singletary's a damn good back.
About the one thing that I did not mention about the Browns and Chiefs, and Kerry knows how big of a fan of I am of Baker Mayfield and his outrageous accuracy when he's on. Boy, is he on. Did hit the last half of the season, and even in that game, he is on fire. He's now the quarterback that everybody who believed in him knew he could be if he just got out of his own way.
And like you said, Gary, if it would have been another quarter, the Browns might have won that game, and especially with OBJ out the game. If they'd have had OBJ, that'd have been another story as well.
Roger,
and this is what I talked about when he got hurt. See. And I pointed this out for people who just don't really truly understand the game, who think the Browns are better without OBJ. I pointed to Stephon Diggs. I said, when you look at a number one receiver, you know, regular season is fine. They can get all the accolades. But in the playoffs, when you need a guy to make a third down conversion, a fourth down conversion, you're going to one person. You're going to your number one receiver. And your number one receiver is counted on for you to convert that. Buffalo Bills have been the best in showing that because when Josh Allen needs to convert some shit, he's going to Stephon Diggs, and Stephon comes through for him. So that's the same thing with OBJ. That's when he really shows it. So, I mean, it got bumped down to Jarvis Landry, but OBJ is a game breaker. Jarvis is dope, but OBJ will turn that 2, 3, 4 yard pass to a touchdown.
Well, as many times as I had Rashard Higgins in my fantasy lineups this season because him and Baker do like each other, I still would rather have Odell in the game instead of fucking Rashard Higgins or what is it? The Peoples Jones or whoever that guy is. But yo, next year though, the Browns are going to be a very serious problem.
Yeah.
Yes, they will be, because the confidence, now they have built the confidence on top of how they played.
Well, also, I think the most important part is that since they've established themselves as having the most success when they give the rock to 1 and 1A at running back, everyone can be on board. You're going to see the rock, and you're going to see the rock in important situations, but this is how we win. Running the rock, playing strong defense. You just make the plays when the plays are called to you. You don't need 10 catches a game for us to be successful. You don't need that.
Yeah, Roger, they are definitely right on the brink. You can see that in this offseason, their offensive line is one of the best in football. Their receiving, their skill players are literally one of the best in football, like no question. They got the health of their corners that they next season they're both healthy are both incredible.
Denzel Ward was making a difference, and he just came off an injury.
That's what I'm saying. So then you get Greedy Williams back for an entire season. So now.
Greedy.
And Delpit, who was hurt this entire season.
So now,
Greedy, my guy.
That's nicest guy. So as a Browns GM, I am definitely looking at linebackers in the draft and just filling in the middle of that defense. And then you're good to go, man. You are primed for Super Bowl runs.
They got to keep my man Taki, though. They got to keep my man Taki. You know what I'm saying? Taki balls, man. You don't, man, leave Taki out of the situation. He could go. All
right, fellas. So we have reached the first breaking point in Gray Matter. So I will end this one and go take a break for like 2-3 minutes or whatever, and I'll send you guys a new link for the second half, and we'll break down the most important game, the one that will be talked about the most, only because of Drew Brees is now done. He's done. We got a lot to talk about, and we'll talk about next week's the championship games, and we might have to go into a third segment on this one, depending on how long the second one takes, because there are so many head coaching hires that just happened that I got questions for you guys on.
Yes.
Oh,
Shout out to the Jets finally getting it right.
Shut up.
Finally got it right.
You don't get to say anything about that. You're not a Jets fan anymore. You're a Seahawks fan.
Yes, I am, but shout out to the Jets. They finally got it right.
All right, so yeah, I will send you guys a new Zoom link immediately. You'll see it in about 30 seconds.
Oh.
All right, so let me start a new one. I just got to upgrade. Fucking. Yeah, stop being cheap and upgrade. All right. Let's see. Let me send these through. All right. So, you know what that means. It's time to roll the fuck up. And who is hitting my phone? Oh, man. I'm going to power through it, people. I can make it. Yeah, well, I mean, you did run a 4.3, so you would be first.
Yeah, I don't like to do things slowly.
Well, depending.
Well,
so, we'll see. Well, hopefully Nice will get to somewhere a little bit safer than driving through the mountains of upstate New York, wherever the fuck he's at right now. So,
Lake Minnetonka. Bathing in the water.
I'm going to bathe in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. So, Bucks and Saints, to be expected. We all knew Tom Brady's he's never lost 3 games in one season to the same quarterback and team. B, we know Tom Brady's motivation. There was no way in the world he was going to let Drew Brees have that little talking point on him.
Wow. Raj picked the Saints to get it done.
Hey,
I can see why he did it.
I thought the offense was going to come through.
I can see why he did it.
Brady being who he is, a flawless game, 200 yards, 2 TDs, no turnovers. And then you got Drew Brees with, 3 interceptions that really killed. And then I think a couple of those balls were drop balls, I believe.
Well, because you had one that went off a Cook.
Yep.
Exactly.
And
crucial.
then
That was
on
crucial.
the sidelines. Yeah, you can't have tip balls like that. And then Cook had a bad game.
Yes, he did.
He fumbled again. He fumbled earlier. I mean, so it was in his head. So yeah, at that point, you got to know when to give your player confidence and when to go away from your player. And Cook at that point, he needed to be gone away from.
Well,
But,
Michael.
way more nip tuck than we want to say, because at halftime they were right there with it.
Well, I mean, I texted you and I told you, well, if things go as the season has proven, since I am a surrogate Bucks fan this year, they're going to have a big second half, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
That's been their formula the entire season for some reason. Do nothing in the first half and then explode in the second half.
But the difference is, though, in the second half, they really committed to the run, which is what we've been saying this Bucks team needed to do from before. You have a stable. Ronald Jones has had the best camp of his career. You somehow you snatch up Fournette. I mean, you even dust off Shady McCoy. He's still got some scoots in him. You know what I mean? So use them finally, which they finally decided to do, and then just let Tom be Tom. Let TB12 be TB12. He'll figure all that other shit out.
Well,
I run the rock. A damn near 50-year-old quarterback should not be dropping back 50 times. You shouldn't be dropping back the same amount of times as your age at this point.
Well, I think the game plan for the first half is to try to neutralize the strength of the Saints defense, which is those front four clogging it up in the middle, and then whoever Marshawn Lattimore is covering. But with the Bucks, there's just too many of them. There's too many.
Which Mike Williams, I mean, though yards wise, he didn't crush, but he got that all important.
Oh no, Mike Evans.
Mike Evans got that all important touchdown, and he sat on Lattimore's ass, and he let him know about it, and that jacked with Lattimore the rest of the game, because then Lattimore started getting penalties, and he was pissed because he couldn't let that go. You can tell when a corner lets a play go and when he doesn't. He couldn't let that shit go, and so then he started fouling Evans, and Evans knew he was in his head, and it was done. Evans didn't even need to make catches after that because he was in Lattimore's head, which neutralized Lattimore.
Well, Roger, one thing that I noticed during the last couple weeks of the season and through the playoffs, what the Bucks are utilizing is whenever they have a two tight end set, everybody's looking at Gronk at all times, and Cameron Brate is always open. He's always fucking open. He's always open.
And didn't we say that early in the season? We said Brate should have a great year.
He will, because everyone's going to look at Gronk, and that's how it always happens.
Playoffs, especially. Brate should eat.
Some crucial first down catches that took him where they need to be.
Well, if you earn Tom Brady's trust, you will get the rock. It's coming your way. Once you earn it, it's coming your way. So if you're
you see Brate diving all over the yard. Brate was diving, making catches. So I was you seeing it right there, he's gonna get the rock.
Well, another thing that I learned in this game, because there was a 3rd and 14 that this rookie who made an absolutely ridiculous diving catch on the sideline for a first down. I don't remember his name or where he's from, but post-game, they asked Tom Brady about it, and he said, I've been saying for the last 8 weeks that we have to get this kid in the game, but how do you get him in the game with all those fucking receivers?
I know who you're talking about, and his name escapes me right now, but Tom has been throwing him the rock all season.
Yeah. He's
trusted this rookie. He put the trust in him early, and so whenever this rookie does come in the game, he throws him the rock because he trusts him. I can't remember his name right now, but
that catch was incredible.
Oh my God! Yeah.
He had to turn completely over, and it's still 3 inches off the ground. It's amazing. On 3rd down too. That was almost. And that Tyler Johnson, and that was it. That was the momentum shift in the game, because they just took off from there. Now, AB did get injured, but they have Scotty Miller, who's actually faster than AB. So they don't need somebody to be running around the middle. They got Chris Godwin for that. And they don't need somebody to work the sidelines. They got Mike Evans for that. And they got Gronk and Cameron Brate. What they need, which AB doesn't do at this stage of his career, is take the top off of defense. Scotty Miller does that.
But AB still does get open deep.
Oh no, because he's AB. Like, come on, it's like
Right.
he's AB.
I mean, so let's be serious. Like, AB
No, I'm
was
taking AB. So I wanted to text you,
on.
Kerry, during the game when Scotty Miller caught that big catch down the sideline.
Sure. I
Uh,
mean, Scotty's still doing his thing.
he looks exactly like a miniature Gronk in his face. Like him and Gronk literally look exactly the same, which is hilarious to me.
He just has the body of a Wayne Corbett.
All right,
No,
so Roger, let me ask you something because a lot of onus was put on the improvement in this game versus the first two of the Bucks secondary, and I don't think it's very hard to play in the secondary against a quarterback who can't throw it 15 yards down the field.
You talking about
Drew Brees, literally the Bucks,
bunting.
the Bucks DBs, Dean, Bunting, Winfield Jr. Everybody was just up within the 15-yard box, jamming him at the line, because literally, and you could see it when he was throwing it. He can't come back next year. Everyone's like, "Oh, Drew, he can't. He can't. He has no arm strength."
Is when you have let's eat the dubs, crab legs Winston throwing that deep touchdown. Which, listen, I mean, for all his antics and all his W eating and all his crab leg stealing, I still have an affinity.
Oh, he's got a great arm.
I know, and so it was great to see him do it. And he got in the game against his former team, and he said, "Look, this is why I was drafted number 1 overall. Bing, touchdown, right on the money, perfect." His teammates were super excited for him, so that was a great moment for him. Let's see how that translates with him moving down the line, because honestly, I just can't see Taysom Hill being the one to take over for Drew Brees. I'm sorry, I just don't see that. I see him more as the gadget player, which he is great at.
Just stick to that, dude.
Game, homie, you are getting this opportunity to really blow this position out, whatever this is. This is your lane. You drop back, you throw it sometimes, you run it sometimes. You make your decision. You're like the ultimate gadget RPO dude. That's awesome. But who should run the team? It definitely should be Winston at this point. If that's the only quarterback, unless they add another quarterback. And he got a chance to show that. But yeah, Drew not being able, in this crucial times, you want your franchise QB to be able to be in there in the fourth quarter to push the ball downfield. Michael
Thomas isn't getting downfield anyway.
Thomas, and that too. Michael Thomas, 0 catches in a playoff game. 0 catches. They got upset when their punt returner got hurt because he was their major weapon.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
When Harris went down, the Saints were not the same team. The Saints were giving it to the Bucks in the first half because Harris was giving them excellent field position. And really, if that guy probably did not need to foul, that was a punt return for a touchdown. That's a different game.
His momentum, all he had to do was stick his hands up.
That's what I'm saying. Same thing happened to Rocket Ismail against Colorado national championship game. I'll never forget that one because this man didn't even have to touch him, and Rocket would have forever. I mean, he was already a college legend, but that would have. Come on, you're in the Raptors.
All right, so Roger, let me ask you something. If you're lining up against Drew Brees and his noodle arm, and Michael Thomas, who can't run down the field farther than 10 yards before Drew Brees has to get rid of it anyway. Like, who's their deep threat? Emmanuel Sanders? Like, let's be serious here. Well, what's your mind?
Tyquan Smith.
Yeah, what's your mindset? Are you just jumping every route?
We're gonna play a soft zone on him and just play over top of everything. That's how we would do that. That's how I would do it, because he's not gonna go deep, and Michael Thomas isn't a threat. I don't know. He's coming off an injury, right?
Yeah, they said he's going to have at least 3 ankle surgeries, which is a weird prediction. Yeah, he's going to need at least 3.
Wow.
For someone who doesn't rip the top off the roof, and you're right, I would do a soft zone. I wouldn't even jam him, because if you let a receiver that big with that much strength get his hands on you, then he can manipulate the whole situation. Bang. Then he's always open. I wouldn't even touch him. I let him come to me. Go ahead, because any cut you make, I can cut faster. I can make that speed up. So, yeah, I would have just and I love what Todd Bowles did. Like, he was aggressive with them. You know, he was aggressive with the receivers, like what Belichick did to the Bills. And in 90.
Yeah, and same thing to the Rams.
Thomas is a monster. I know Alvin Kamara is a monster. He's going to get what he gets, but we're going to beat these receivers up, and they're not going to get anything.
Yeah, I know, Roger. If I was out there with you at safety, I'm literally going to look at you and be like, all right, listen here, homie. I'm going to play off. I'm not even going to jam this get, and I'm literally jumping everything. So if I jump and they get me real quick, just get, I'm jumping. I'm going to try to, because with the quarterback with a noodle arm, if you're going to jump it, that's 6. You're going the other way with it.
And the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
3 picks.
3 picks.
2 almost went for 6.
Oh yeah.
It was
everything in front of you, don't let nothing behind you.
Yeah.
So now, what else happened in this game that we could talk about? The emergence of Devin White is now a household name, and everybody knows that this guy's like one of the best players in football. He was everywhere.
2 first career touchdowns in his career.
Dude, he was everywhere. Pick, forced fumble, fumble recovery, tackles for loss. I think he was in on a sack. He had 13 tackles. This guy was everywhere. It was fucking incredible.
So I'll tell you this. I remember, well, I really don't remember, but I was told that there was a game, the Ravens versus the New York Giants and some Super Bowl that I never remember being played. There's a guy in the middle of that Ravens defense named Ray Lewis that was literally everywhere.
Yeah.
If you threw a pass, he was tipping it. Didn't matter if it was 10 yards or 40 down the field. His hands was on it.
Well,
if you were to run, he was in the backfield.
Well,
he could literally not do anything and he not be involved in that play somehow.
Well, Kerry, when do you ever see a middle linebacker win Super Bowl MVP, for Christ's sakes?
I mean, come on. That was just
That's what Devin, you're right. That's what it looked like. Devin White was literally all over the field, and
he was involved in every single defensive play.
He has the speed to get sideline to sideline with anyone. It's and he's only in his 2nd year, so oh my god.
Right.
Oh, another one that Ndamukong Suh has been playing for so long that I did not know he's been playing that long. I didn't know he was fucking like 37 years old.
And they also said out of every defensive lineman,
he's played more snaps than anyone in the league.
Doesn't even break a sweat.
Yeah, at 37.
This dude is a monster.
Yeah.
He's a monster. Yeah, and he still plays with 2. I mean, he's a key. He's a major key who's not getting, talked about as much because everyone else. But still. But this is the time where you need those guys like that the most. Especially there's going to be more running. And we'll get to it when we get to the matchup. But
well, yeah, that's what we're going to talk about right now.
Yeah, what Green Bay couldn't do in that first matchup, they couldn't run, and then there was no Devontae Adams was just coming off injury. They didn't have anything like that. Now, potentially, they have at least a 2-headed monster at running back since they've started working in the rookie A.J. Dillon. I say 3. He got blown up last week, fumbled, whatever. Sometimes you just get hit wrong, but in the weeks prior, he's shown that he can be trusted, and he's a strong runner. A big-ass kid, 230, 240, and he runs with power. And so you match that with Jamal Williams and also Aaron Jones, who can both run and catch out the backfield. I think that's going to be a major key for them to take down Tampa Bay. Because Tampa Bay, the thing about them, they have talent and they have speed. But how do you neutralize that? You use the speed against them, screens and all that, and they get overly aggressive, which means you start to miss tackles. And I think they could take advantage of that on the Green Bay side of things and just be patient, keep running, and then let Discount Double Check do his thing in the second half. And I think you're going to have a Green Bay.
Well, yeah, those Green Bay receivers are a little bit different than the Saints receivers, and that arm on Aaron Rodgers is infinitely different than that arm on Drew Brees. So it's going to be different now.
In Green Bay.
Yeah, well, I mean, cold weather doesn't bother Tom Brady. His record in freezing temperatures is impeccable.
This is true, but guess what? When you've been walking to practice in slides versus UGG boots for the better part of 3 or 4 months, shit gets different. Skin starts to thin out, my friend. So, yeah.
You don't think Tom Brady? You don't think
condition yourself for the cold? You don't got to condition yourself for that good warm heat down there in Florida.
You don't think Tom's not sleeping in the freezer with all of his avocado ice cream this week?
He better be.
I bet you he is. No one prepares like this guy. This guy is incredible. So they ask Aaron Rodgers, because Tuesday is Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays on the Pat McAfee show, and they ask him, so that 38-3 blowout, how much does that weigh? Or they got whatever it was. They got blown out by the Bucks. He said, how much does that weigh in on this week's game coming up? He said, why don't you ask the Saints how much their 38-3 blowout of the Bucks does in their last game? He's like, it doesn't matter in the NFL. Each week is completely different.
Yeah,
But he also knows who you talking to. You're talking to Aaron Rodgers, who takes everything personally.
Yeah.
Just like Tom Brady, who takes everything personally. They'll answer your question however they feel like they should answer it. But when you get in the game, remember what Tom Brady did to that Steelers safety who was talking shit?
Mm-hmm.
He went after him and destroyed him. He was like, yeah, well, I guess we'll see. And then he went after him deliberately to destroy him and embarrass him. I don't know if that kid has even had a career after that. So, yeah, Aaron Rodgers can talk all that shit and say, oh, well, we'll just see. Nothing ever. Yeah, okay. Okay.
So, Roger, when it's playoff time, what's the change in the locker room? What's the mood change?
Everybody's, focused, on point, on time, just clicking on all cylinders. Everybody's on the same page because, everybody wants to get to the next round, the next level, to get to the Super Bowl, and here it is, NFC Championship against two legendary quarterbacks, and it's going to be a good game. But Aaron Rodgers, I believe he's clicking on all cylinders. He's in total control of the offense, and it's going to be a good game.
Turnover battle in this one. Whoever wins the turnover battle will probably win this one.
Yep, for sure.
And can we talk about this real quick? Because Aaron Rodgers and TB12 haven't matched up many times throughout their career.
Never in the playoffs.
They've been compared throughout their career many a time. I mean, we are getting a special treat here now that TB12 is in the NFC. That we would have wanted to see this matchup,
the Super Bowl,
their whole career, just like TB12 had Peyton.
Yeah,
but we would have really wanted to see this also. And so they would have only been able to match in the past in Super Bowls, which by the time Green Bay made it, you had Big Ben. But now this is what we've wanted to see, and so
not only was it what we wanted to see, Kerry, this is literally what we predicted was going to be the NFC Championship game in our preseason show, because it kind of just made sense. If the Bucks could get it, in the end of the season, they got it going because of no preseason, and we discussed it, Tom Brady is more equipped than any quarterback on the planet in history to deal with not having a preseason and offseason and things like that. Whatever, I got this. So this is exactly what the world wants to see anyway. The NFL could not have asked, with their cratering, faltering ratings, could not have asked for a better championship round, because you have the two old guards going off, and then in the next game you have the next generation, two best quarterbacks going at it.
Yep, you said it good right there, Joe.
Yeah, this is incredible, and it's funny because they put the young guns second. They're going to let the young guns have the bigger stage, Kerry. That's funny that they did that.
Well, because we're a transitional league.
No, I get that, but you would figure that it's Tom Brady and fucking Aaron Rodgers, dude, like, in the playoffs. It's never happened.
But listen, what do we even do in this whole world? We're a transitional league. Old folks, you need to eat dinner at 4 p.m. Let these young folks eat at 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Well,
they want to do it.
Roger, Tom does traditionally go to bed by 8 p.m. every day, so they do need to get his games over early with. That's what I hear.
Exactly. Tom really appreciates this.
So what do you think the biggest matchup to watch in Green Bay and Tampa is? To me, it's going to be Todd Bowles and Aaron Rodgers, because your corners, your secondary cannot match up, man. They just cannot compete with the athletes. So now it's on Todd Bowles' scheme and what pressure he applies.
I agree, and that's why I said in the first matchup, Green Bay couldn't run. Todd Bowles knew that. How you think Jamal Dean gets a pick six? You understand?
Sitting on
Jamal
routes.
Dean,
Sitting on routes.
he got two. Aaron Rodgers threw two picks that game, through to corners who have been getting burnt throughout this entire season. It was Todd Bowles knowing that Green Bay had no running game. Now this is not the case. Green Bay, now they've established three guys who can tote that thing and who can catch it out the backfield. So now we're really going to see. So I think it's going to fall on the linebackers of Tampa Bay, the linebackers and the safeties. I mean, because Devontae Adams is going to eat.
Yeah,
Devontae is at the height of his powers right now. Scantling, earlier in the season, he didn't have this confidence. Lazard was kind of still in front of him, but Lazard's core injury actually really helped Scantling out more than anybody else on that Green Bay team. So now he has the confidence, and he's the one who has the speed to blow the top right off that roof. And then Lazard, who does all the dirty work, you get used to him blocking you so much that when he finally rips out, 6'5", faster than you think, and then Tunyon too. So yeah, I don't they're a Green Bay team, and my only concern, Jair Alexander. I really like him, but he can't cover everybody, and he's their best cover guy. The defense concerns me, so it's all about who gets up first and who can dictate pace and what this game is supposed to look like. That's going to have the advantage.
Well, Roger, I think, building off of what Kerry says, I think the biggest key in this in particular game is going to be Green Bay's ability, with Bakhtiari out, the all-pro left tackle out, Green Bay's ability to pick up Devin White and Levante David blitzing, because if you pick them up now, you are leaving Tunyon one-on-one with an outside linebacker and leverage into the center of the field, because the two safeties are going to have to, whichever side Devontae's on, that safety has to look at him and help. You have to.
He's going to have to cheat over.
There is no Jalen Ramsey in this Bucs secondary at all. Kerry, if we can make it down to or up to Wisconsin, we might be able to get a start in this game at corner for Tampa Bay. Those corners suck.
Let me get these hamstrings a little stretched out, put a little Crisco on them. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to roll. A little Tiger Bomb. Listen on my calves.
Roger, if they let me smoke on the sidelines while the offense is on the field, I'm with it. I can play.
Listen, I can tell you what. I'll talk enough shit to tackle at least one person.
No, but I really think if it's going to come down to the blitz package from Tampa, because if you get a couple sacks, which Aaron Rodgers traditionally, not so much this year, but traditionally in his career, has a tendency to hold on to the ball and try to make plays with his incredible talent. So he does take a lot of sacks. But if they're picking up those blitzes, and Tunyon has a huge game, because Tunyon seems to make catches when they count third downs, touchdowns. He had 11 touchdowns in the regular season. He only had like 30 catches, for Christ's sakes.
Had 3 in one game, like he can go.
You know, but then if you flip it the other way, it also looks the other way. What the fuck is Green Bay's defense going to do with that offense? I mean, you do have those two bookends at D end that can apply pressure.
Right.
But what else? You have, like you said, you have Jair Alexander, but he can only cover one guy. They got like 7 receivers. They have so many receivers, they can't get them all on the field at the same time.
Right. They got another safety, Savage. He's young. Like he'll make some good plays, but he also gets caught out there because he's looking. He's not. Sometimes you just need more seasoning. I think he's going to be a great player, a really good player. First of all, in order to make it to that level, you fucking dope.
You're incredible.
But with everything going on, you need. I would say athlete-wise, Tampa Bay presents more than Green Bay does, but you can manipulate that aggression and, better.
I get what you're saying. It's because you can manipulate Tampa's speed and aggression on defense, especially with Aaron Rodgers, right?
And then when you do, what have we seen this season? Tampa get blown out. When you know how to manipulate Tampa's defense and use their aggression and speed against them, they get blown out. They get blown out. Let me tell you, the Giants almost beat them with Danny Dimes at quarterback. When we were not like set in RPO action and all that, and actually should have beat them.
Well, we talked about it though. Bruce Arians is a coach whose teams are going to play down to their competition because he's probably drinking scotch on the sideline during those games. Like fuck it.
And also, you think about it, that Giants defense
is good.
Was well underrated, and I mean they had studs.
We had no idea how good that Bradbury was going to play that good.
Was the top-notch defensive line. Blake Martinez making tackles, and even Fackrell, who I never even heard of Fackrell before this season, he was playmaking. And then we see the emergence of Pro Preppers and Bradbury. That's
why I said Bradbury played above his pay grade the entire season. So Roger,
and I don't know if Green Bay has that on.
Or so Roger, do you think Todd Bowles has made a call to Bill Belichick for any advice?
You know he has. He wants to get the edge and see what what's going on. I'm sure he's called it.
Hey Bill, what would you do if you were me this week?
Exactly.
Because listen, honestly, if there was a defensive mind who would be able to tackle the problem of Davante Adams, Aaron Rodgers, 3 running backs, and then very comparable complementary receivers. They are really good role players. And none of them's trying to be more than what they are, which is awesome. That allows Davante to just – they're all like, yeah, I'd throw it to him 20 times a game too. Are you fucking kidding me? You know, it's not like Cleveland in the beginning of the year where everyone's bitching about who's going to get the ball and Baker's worried about pleasing everybody. You also have Aaron Rodgers. I don't care who you are at receiver. You're not going to tell Aaron Rodgers to throw you the ball. You're not going to. He's going to throw it to you when he wants to.
I think the greatest example of that is San Francisco versus Cincinnati Bengals. Who scored the winning touchdown in the Super Bowl? John Taylor. Jerry Rice had a magnificent
game. Did he have like 200 yards or something retarded?
MVP.
Yeah.
Game.
216, I think.
But when it came down to it, he scored a touchdown and went to John Taylor. Do you think Jerry Rice had feelings about that? One feeling, euphoria, because they just won the damn championship. He didn't give a shit. He knew what it took. And that's why football is the ultimate team sport. Because if you see somebody's cooking, let them cook. Let me do my job over there so I can help them cook even better. Make that shit even spicier.
So, Roger, who do you think has a special teams edge in this matchup? Because it is going to be snowy and windy. It's going to play a part.
I would say the Packers special team.
Yeah, Mason Crosby. I don't even know who the Bucks. Oh, that young coup that used to kick for Atlanta.
Young some coup.
Yeah, but he was a Pro Bowler this year. So.
Wait. How did that happen?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Percentage-wise, for the regular season, he was the leading kicker in the NFC. So that's how.
No, but how did they get? Because Coup was kicking for Atlanta, and they cut him, and then.
Yeah, he's kicking for he's a Pro Bowler this year, man.
Well, I don't even know how Tampa Bay got him.
It was an off-season move. He's been there all year. Actually, no, it was like week 5 or 6 they picked him up because they had kicking struggles early on. But yeah, he ended up as a Pro Bowler, dude.
I thought Coup was literally still on.
I mean, I do have a headache. I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that's who their kicker is.
No. Ryan Suckup is the kicker for Tampa Bay.
I'll see. Don't listen to anything I just said over the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what you talking about? Coup is still in Atlanta.
Yeah, don't listen to anything I said over the last 3 minutes, people.
No, it's old school Ryan Suckup, who used to be with the Titans and all them, and so he's a professional kicker. I can give him that.
So
but
I wonder.
Crosby knows how to kick in this terrain and this weather. So.
Well, that's the other thing is, clearly outside of Tom Brady, Tampa is going to have issues if there is wind and cold conditions. When you're used to it, it's not a big deal. Like, it's really not a big deal. Like, it's like, all right, this is just part of what it is. So.
And yes, you do make a point about Tom, even though he's lost a couple of layers off that thick skin. But Tom's not the issue. We're talking Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette.
Those hands in the cold.
Ronald Jones. We're talking about And the cats I just named were all used to playing in Florida, down south, all the time. So we're talking about those guys. How were they? How's their game going to translate to Green Bay? We're not maybe throw perfect passes all the time, but if they're catching with hands like this, you know,
So I will, as a Tom Brady super fan, that is a quarterback who understands how to get the ball through the wind. It's just like a golfer when it's winning. There's a way to get the ball to get through the wind and not be affected. Aaron Rodgers can do it too. Like, Jesus Christ, it's just all his.
no, and I trust him to do it. But I'm talking about the players who just
No, I know. So now this is the only.
Toes. They're thinking about, God damn.
Tom Brady will be ready.
Tom Brady's going to be ready. I'm worried about everybody else.
It's the preparation of the other guys that aren't used to the cold weather.
Again, so instead of Tom Brady sleeping in with his avocado ice cream, I bet you his entire receiving core is in his freezer right now sleeping.
Because you can listen. You can be the dopest player. You can feel like you're ready, and then that cold hits you in the face, and then you're thinking about cold. You're not thinking about, and that one distractionary moment when you're thinking about how cold it is, and then you're not seeing the blitzing linebacker that you're supposed to pick up, or it just takes your concentration away for that split second. Can change the game. Can blow a whole game up.
Yeah, so Roger, I think an underrated thing that has yet to be discussed on anything that I've heard is, so when you play in high school and it's Iron Man football, your kickoff team, fucking middle linebacker, tight end, like you never leave the field. If it's 12 degrees, it doesn't matter. You never leave the field. Then when I got to college, things were a little bit different. I did not understand. It was new to me my freshman year of how to be game ready on the sideline while the offense is on the field, and you're just sitting there for the next 8 minutes while they're going down the field, and then just like, and now my freshman year, I only played special teams. I remember one game, it was the coldest game I've ever been in my life. We only punted once. Dude,
cold.
You have to be prepared on the sideline.
Dude, I walked out there like a stick man, dude. I couldn't even move.
You was probably looking like Han Solo.
Yeah, dude, it was. Dude, I was not moving very quick on that punt. I can guarantee you that one. So you got to look at the knowledge of playing in the cold that the Packers are going to have, i.e., Aaron Rodgers said it. You don't really sit by the heater in cold games like that because going from heat to cold really fucks with your body. You kind of just get used to it and stay out there. Just kind of, stay limber and stay moving.
Stay moving around.
Yeah, you're looking at Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and all them guys who may have never experienced this in their entire lives. What are they going to do when the defense is on the field? That's what I want to see.
That's what I'm talking about. And that's where the importance of an Antonio Brown comes in, playing in Pittsburgh all these years.
Yeah.
He's not even thinking about that shit. Gronk, yeah, but Gronk may be tied up. What's Cameron Brake going to be looking like? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so Roger, what's it like on cold games on the NFL sideline? Because you guys are a little bit more well-equipped than, the lower levels of football, that's for sure.
Yeah, of course. They got those seats, with the heated seats, the blowers. They got the coats. They got, the hats. I mean, they'll be prepared to keep the guys warm for sure.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. It will definitely play a factor. But then again, these are professional athletes who are extremely well paid at the top of their game with a chance to achieve their dream, which is going to the Super Bowl. I don't think the fucking cold is going to bother anyone at all.
As a professional, you should be acclimated and ready for the job at hand. So those guys.
Roger, you said the greatest thing should be.
Yeah.
We all know nature. While you should be, there will be some out there who ain't.
Well, I think one thing that we're also not factoring in on this is they do have number 12 at quarterback, and if you are not prepared for every single moment for this one, you see him yelling at everybody, every mistake they made, he was going off on people.
Oh, yeah. Well, because he's getting closer. And the closer he gets, the more you'll see TB12 be TB12.
All right, so
you false start, he's like, He's calling you out by name.
So,
Everybody.
Roger, do you think? I mean, because every Super Bowl that he's had, each one has its own story and significance. Blah 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 blah, whatever. And I know the one that where he made Roger Goodell hand him the trophy and shake his hand after the 4-game suspension, and his mother had been battling cancer that entire season and had only made one game, which was the Super Bowl. I know that one really mattered, but I think this one, if he can get to the Super Bowl, doing it without Belichick, I think this might be the most important game in his mind he's ever played. Oh, look at Nice, not driving through the hood anymore. What up?
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, look, he's lighted.
What you got?
Look at this.
Is that a Shark Tank in the back? What is that?
Nah,
What?
it's a fireplace.
Oh, see you
Shark Tank for my enemies.
you and Euro been doing all right out there, son. Yo, so Nice. I was just saying, do you think, given the fact that this is it without Belichick, and once again, Tom's playing his 14th fucking championship game. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you think this is the most? If he makes it to the Super Bowl, this will be his most important game of his life?
Yeah,
Yeah, I do too.
yeah. I mean, he's now with Belichick.
I think, honestly, Nice. If I think if the Bucks win this game, they're winning the Super Bowl. They're not going to lose that Super Bowl. It's not going to happen.
It's just like I said. It's the whole factor of, the Belichick ghost. Like everybody always say, well, he did all this with Belichick. So this is the first time that he's showing you that I don't need Belichick. So this is his most important game of his career right now. Because it will solidify so many things in his career right now.
And truth be told, you know who else has high stakes? Bruce Arians.
He does, and we'll answer that question. I'm going to send you guys another Zoom link, and this will be the last week that I don't sign up for a professional Zoom because this is fucking annoying at this point. Now that there's 4 of us, so I'm going to close this up. Send you guys a new one. Roll the fuck up, Nice. Go. You got like 2 minutes to complete a jukes. I think you can get it in. And we'll see you guys in a second. All right. Yeah, I'm not gonna keep doing this. This is fucking stupid. All right, so let's add some people in. What the fuck is this thing? All right, so we will. All right, they will be joining us momentarily, and we will break down the Bills and Chiefs, which is going to hinge on one thing and one thing only: the health of Patrick Mahomes, clearly. I don't think the Bills care if he's healthy or not. They're going to come out and do their thing. But I'm sure the Chiefs care. And if I were the Chiefs, I would care too. Because realistically, what the fuck are you going to do without Patrick Mahomes out there? So, we will... The quickest thumbs in New York. He's in there. Yeah, man, this is I'm telling you, if they make it to the Super Bowl, which I think the NFL wants because of it'll be the storyline, Tampa is first home, blah 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 blah, all that dumb shit.
Yeah,
all that.
And also, if he does win, then I mean, yes, I know he signed a 2-year deal, but does he eschew that and say, "I'm done, y'all"?
He'll come back.
No, he'll come back.
It's Tom, dude. This guy will play until they drag him off of the field.
Right. But then also,
and honestly, Kerry,
making it, I mean, that Mahomes, which just makes that Mahomes entry loom even longer.
Well, yeah, we're going to get to that, but listen, man, you've known me for a very long time at this point, and I don't know if there is a bigger Tom Brady, like an actual Tom Brady super fan. I'm not like a fanboy. I'm like a football fan of what he's from the beginning. I was on it. Like, nah, this is the best quarterback I've ever seen. Dude, his arm looks better than it did a decade ago.
Listen, when he threw a pass. It was the pass that he threw to the rookie.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, and it was a fantastic catch.
All the way across the field. It's a 53-yard throw.
All the way across the field. But then it was the throw and the catch. But even him saying, I'm going to throw that there, and I have the confidence that he'll catch it. I mean, that was just beautiful synchronicity right there. And I was like, man, TB12.
Yo, because
doing it.
Yeah, Kerry, you know Brett Favre was throwing a pick on that throw. Brett Favre was throwing a pick.
Well, you know, Brett is also chewing pork rinds, you know, in the huddle before he calls the play. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but no, that throw is impressive because you just don't throw it that far across the field in the NFL. The defenders are too fucking fast. But he also threw it to literally the only place that kid could catch it.
Yeah,
and he trusted the kid to catch it, too. That was an incredible throw. But, yeah, his arm literally looks better than it did a decade ago. And another thing that they said, a huge factor in, you know, free will and Bruce Arians that Tom loves is Alex Guerrero is literally in the locker room. That whole bill, the Patriots wouldn't allow him to even be around. He had to build a building outside of the stadium, and she couldn't fly. Nah, Bruce Arians is like, nah, bring him in. You want the kid?
Oh, you didn't see? You didn't see when Tom did his post-game interview, I think, with Aaron Andrews. One of the first people he went to go hug was Alex Guerrero, who was right there in the mix. And Tom was very happy. And I was like, I see. There you go. You keep this guy happy. He will give you everything that he has and everything you need. And look where you are. You're in NFC chip right now. Tampa Bay Bucks, who were going 8-8 with that monster squad. Now look where you are.
Well, that's the Tom Brady effect for sure. So let's break down the Bills and Chiefs without talking about Patrick Mahomes' injury. Because we can literally talk about that the whole time. Oh, my God. Because that's going to be the entire factor. There's still a football game to be played. So let's not talk about that first off.
Absolutely.
I got to go grab some weed in the other room. I'll let you guys shoot it off real quick. I'll be right back.
I'll kick it off. So Patrick Mahomes, let's just assume that he's going to play, which I am, because there's no way that I think that they try to roll this thing out without him. But even if so, you still have professionals ready to play or go to the Super Bowl. For me, the key for a Bills victory was what I saw last week in their running game, and Devin Singletary, because we know that is the Chiefs' Achilles heel. They've been having difficulty stopping the run throughout the entire season, which is why they played a close game with a third-string quarterback playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars, because James Robinson was toting that rock against them, and they had special teams plays against the Chiefs. So, as we know, the Bills have a running back who could go, and they also have decent special teams play. So, I actually see a way in which, even with Patrick Mahomes, they can beat the Chiefs.
Yeah. I totally agree. I understand, but you know, Pat Mahomes is just, you know, he just tilted the top of the you know, he tilts it. I mean, it is like you said, all these factors can go into play, but when you when it really boils down to making a play, Pat Mahomes' arm strength is just so ridiculous. He can make plays when the play's not even there.
So is the other guys.
That's what makes him so.
Josh Allen has been the same.
I was going to say, nice. So the other guy's arm can do the same thing.
And if you've watched this season, if you've watched this season, as I know you have, Josh Allen has shown throughout this season, he made a last-second throw against the Rams that beat the Rams in the last second. To who? Javonte Davis, number 19, that we talked about. He's been doing this throughout the season. Key passes to Coles. He's been doing this throughout the season, so he has shown the ability at the crucial moments of the game in the fourth quarter, when it's either a Bills loss or Bills win, where the Bills would have lost in the past. They've won those games because of Josh Allen.
Yeah, Roger.
Well, yeah.
Roger, I'll give you a real quick take. I'll give all you guys a real quick take on this. I don't care who's playing quarterback for the Chiefs on Sunday. The Bills are winning. I don't care.
Well, the motivational part for the Bills is they haven't been to the playoffs since 1993. That was my rookie season, so that was a long time ago. So the city of Buffalo, they can taste it, and they are a championship caliber team that never won a Super Bowl. And with the team that they have now, they got a lot of motivation, they got a lot going for them right now.
Yeah, nice. I think A, there's the motivation factor. B, there's the health factor because they are firing all cylinders health-wise. And then C, there's just the on-the-field football factor of they are playing better over the last half of the season than the Chiefs are by a wide margin. And I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I've seen it. Yes, it is Patrick Mahomes and it is Andy Reid. So, and it's one game. But I'm going with the Bills, man. They are just playing. They are firing. Now, here's the problem with firing on all cylinders for about 8 straight weeks. You're going to have an off week eventually.
Yes, you're gonna have an off week, and like I said, inexperience comes into that factor because this is the AFC Championship. This is the road to the Super Bowl, where the Kansas City Chiefs already been there before. Now, like I said, it all narrows down to Pat Mahomes. Whether we want to say it or not, that's where it's going.
Of course.
This is what's going to happen. If Pat Mahomes is on that field and he can do some things, they have a shot. Chad Henne has no shot. He has no shot. As good as a backup that he is, this is too big of a game. Buffalo is too stacked. You need your ace in the hole to close this one out. So it all depends on that scenario for me.
Of course.
I just want to say bum stickity bum ah. So check this out. I got the Pinocchio flow. So let me tell you, I hear everything you're saying, but I'm saying there's a higgity hell no. I am rocking with the Bills on this one because, like the shit that I just said before, also the Chiefs D. If I don't listen, just like a shorty on a date with a dude for the first time, she don't trust the D unless she know what that D about. I don't trust that defense.
I do trust the Honey Badger though.
Also, they have Honey Badger. Also, Honey Badger can't guard everybody. Rashard Breeland, who missed 4 games earlier on for PEDs, came back and they played better with him. Who's their best corner? He also got hurt last game, and Rashard Breeland isn't in terms of cornerback play isn't one of the elite corners. He's their best corner.
Not.
So you're dealing with Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, Javonte Davis, and now a running game and Devin Singletary. I don't know if Moss is hurt or not, but if he comes back or not. But you also have the tight end that they have. So let's not also forget, Josh can run.
Yeah.
So he can also run that rock and stretch the defense like that. And he's a 6'5", 240+ pound monster. And on the other side, the Bills have Tre'Davious White, and they just have like their front 4 and their linebackers have just been playing better than the Chiefs' front 4 and linebackers. I just have more trust in them. And special teams wise, outside of kicker, I got to give the edge to the Buffalo Bills, like in the return game and all that. But kicker-wise, obviously,
I totally agree with everything you said. But as fast as they gonna score is just as fast as the Chiefs gonna score.
All right, Roger, let me ask you this, though. So, Buffalo, like we talked about before, literally is like, all right, we're going to. You're getting 75 throws from Buffalo's offense in this game. I don't care. So, my question is the Chiefs have trouble stopping the run. That's like their issue. And Buffalo doesn't run the ball. So, which one is going to break first here? Are the Bills going to actually try to run the ball? And you initially would want to keep Patrick Mahomes off of the field and the offense off the field by run, but they just don't run the ball. They just don't do it.
They should. They should.
Well, should and do are two completely different things.
Yes. If they want to really win this game, this is what they should do.
But the thing is that the Bills are one of the best screen teams in the league. So in lieu of running the rock, they throw screens. They throw running back screens, tight end screens, wide receiver screens. They're one of the best screen teams in the league, and that's what they do in lieu of running the rock. And now in this playoffs, they have shown a dedication to running the rock with Devin Singletary. So we're not talking about the same Bills.
It's the playoffs. You have to run the football. Everybody knows that. So Roger, all right, so you're lined up and you're in the meeting rooms, and you know that it's literally like playing Jim Kelly's Bills again. They're just going to throw it 90 times a game.
K-gun.
Yeah, the K-gun offense. So how do you prepare? Like, it's the playoffs, so you're just like, all right, they have to at least attempt to run the ball, but you're not really leaning forward as a safety. You're more leaning backwards at the snap. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're right. You're going to play that pass first, run second, because the run will open up the pass. If they got a running game going, they'll run, and then they'll try to go with the pass. So, as defensive back, you want to play that pass first, then your progression to your run comes second.
All right. So, as a safety, if you have a team that is very effective at screening, how are you prepared? What's your keys if you know that they are possibly running screens a lot, which they do?
You're gonna zone up, zone, and just play the ball. Best man win.
Yeah, word. It's playoff football, man.
I just don't. And honestly, as I look at the speed of a Devin Singletary or a Cole Beasley or a Diggs, who they would be throwing these screens to, the speed of the Chiefs defense just doesn't match up.
No, it doesn't.
So
I mean, the Bills definitely do have a big shot of winning this thing. They really do. It's tough to count the Chiefs out if Pat Mahomes is there.
Well, it is, but
I understand this from you. You've been in a relationship with the Jets for many a years, so I understand how it's hard to leave the one you with. But it's just a new day and age, player.
And nice. What did we say?
Sides in the board.
Yeah, nice. What did we all say at the beginning of the season? It's too hard to repeat. It's just too hard.
Yeah, it's just too hard,
baby.
And it's usually a health issue, and now the Chiefs are running into health issues because not only is Patrick Mahomes have multiple health injuries he has to deal with, Sammy Watkins isn't even playing for them right now.
Yeah.
This opens up better with Sammy Watkins. They talked about that the last game. Sammy Watkins not being there, he opens up their offense, gives them more.
He is the ultimate. When you have one of your fastest players being a possession receiver, one of your fastest players is now a possession receiver. Come on. And also Clyde Edwards-Helaire, their fantastic rookie running back who's been hampered by a high ankle sprain.
A lot of injuries over there, nice.
Last week.
Yeah, they're in a lot of trouble. Like I said, the Bills are favorite. And the Chiefs are in a lot of trouble. But if somehow these guys can take the field, it would make a big difference. But, I mean, I agree with you guys. The Bills have all the tools right now to take this. This is theirs for the taking.
All right, so now let's get to the fun part. Head coaching hires, because I am befuddled at some of these decisions. Now,
flabbergasted.
I do understand. No, I don't. I get that they want to get like coaches in the building and start building on things as soon as possible. So having Daboll and Bieniemy still in the playoffs and whatnot, and one of them going to the Super Bowl, which means they will be unavailable for a couple more weeks. I just don't understand why you just don't wait like a week.
Yeah.
Why did the Chargers not wait a week for Brian Daboll or whenever they're done so they can go get this guy after seeing what he did to Josh Allen in the Bills offense? I don't even know who they hired. Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, I don't know who the Chargers.
You know what? That is a massive theme. I think that's the theme of it. Who the fuck is this guy? And we can apply that to multiple teams throughout this and why they made those hires.
All right, so I just looked it up. So Brandon Staley, this guy was coaching Division III football 5 years ago, and now he's the head coach of the fucking Chargers. So what is happening? What is happening right now? Fleetwood up is when McVay got hired at like. Fresh out of high school, it seemed like, and then had instant success. What happened was there was a huge rush to go find young, innovative play callers, right? Cliff Kingsbury, all these young guys, right? Well, now we're seeing the opposite effect. They're all hiring Mike Vrabels. Mike Vrabel was never a coordinator at any level. He's just a head coach. He's an accountability coach. He's coming in. So now the theme is to go and hire somebody who is in charge, who delegates and just let the coordinators do what they do.
Someone to Phil Jackson that thing.
So that's like the new theme. So that's the hiring run is all on that. So you're not seeing a lot of coordinators this season getting jobs. Although the only way for the Texans to keep Deshaun Watson, even to have a chance, is if they hire Bieniemy, or he won't stay.
Yeah.
Well, he's the one they're targeting right now.
They have to, or Watson's going to leave.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly who they're targeting right now. I mean, they don't have a choice. Watson is a generational talent. So
I'll be honest with you. It's disappointing that that's what it came down to.
Yeah, he's already displayed. So the question was asked earlier today: are his interviews bad? Is he a bad interviewer?
Probably. Because it's a lot of teams that interviewed him and they haven't took.
This has been years now. They've been interviewing this guy.
But also, though, I mean, like, I put this shit in with the fucking Wonderlic test. Like, the Wonderlic is whatever the fuck that is. But put a guy on the field, put a ball in his hands, and let me see what he can do. And then let me test like that. I don't need a fucking Wonderlic. I don't need that.
Yeah.
No one has to be Mensa smart to make millions in this country or anywhere in this world. So I don't believe in all that bullshit, and I think we just put way too much into that nonsense. You know, you got to be a great interviewer. Am I a great at doing what I do job? At this job that you're going to hire me, am I going to put all the time, the hours, and all that shit, and the dedication into making sure that I'm the very best at it? You can't quantify that on a test. I'm sorry.
No, I also think what was mentioned, the Chargers' mindset is the need wasn't there for like Brian Daboll or Bieniemy as an offensive mind, because their offense was already fucking really good with what they have. So it was like they need a cultural and leadership change.
Yeah. A lot of these teams, this is what they're looking for.
I didn't say it. They said that.
Yeah, but a lot of you're right. You're absolutely right, because a lot of teams are looking for culture change. They're not looking for one side of the ball. They really need somebody that's going to go in there and change the culture, the whole entire culture.
Well, Dice, if you look at the recent success of young coaches, they are culture change coaches. Flores,
Yes.
Mike Vrabel,
McVay,
Joe Judge in New York.
I was going to say Joey Judge. Yes, he definitely did change the thing. But let me ask you this question. Is Andy Reid a culture changer? Because when he got to the Chiefs, guess what? The Chiefs, even with check down Alex, made the playoffs every year. So can we say that he's a culture changer, or is he just phenomenal at what he knows how to do football wise, and then he hires the right people to then put
Yes.
the other players in the right
Oh
positions.
no, Kerry, I agree with you. I think that
So
I
I think
agree.
Eric Bieniemy would be perfect.
I think the NFL is actually a year late on him. He should have been a head coach last year, to be honest with you. After that Super Bowl,
Not even a question on that.
I mean,
Not even a question.
honestly, and you guys can answer this because I already know the fucking answer. Has there ever been an offensive juggernaut outside of, and Josh McDaniels did leave. He just ended up coming back. Where you go and win a Super Bowl, and then that offensive coordinator doesn't go get a head coaching gig. It always happens.
Always happens.
Look at even okay. So head coach for the Saints, Sean Payton. He was with the G's, right? Under head coach Jim Fussell. And
Fossil.
well, yeah. But put up 41 points against Randy Moss and them and the Minnesota Vikings. Put a fat ass donut on them on defense, but that was another thing. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Sean Payton. And I'm thinking that he should stick around. There's creative differences between him and Fossil. Well, Fossil takes over. He's like, I need to run the ball. Sean Payton leaves. He rejoins Parcells, Dallas. See the things that they did in Dallas. And he's Tony Romo's doing this and that and the third. And then Sean Payton gets his shot in New Orleans. And then we've seen it's just a consistency of excellence of someone. And so with the consistency of excellence, you naturally change a culture. When you bring in ideas that are just different from everyone else, and you are revolutionizing the game in real time, the culture will naturally change. They want these guys, they like these motivational speakers to come in and rah the team. Let me tell you something. A motivational speaker lasts this amount of time in a locker room, because you hear the same shit over and over again. You're like, yeah, okay, no. But someone who's constantly working to keep getting you better, and when you can continuously feel challenged, that's the culture right there.
So
you're like, I need to still be motivated by this guy, not by what he's saying, but what he's doing. And like, I see the way he's doing things. I don't need a speech.
So nice. Let me ask you something real quick. Do you think that there's a sour taste in everyone's mouth in the league because of the Bill Belichick failures in his coaching tree and all his coordinators getting head coaching jobs and failing? So everyone's kind of like, that really hasn't worked in the past.
I mean, it has something to do with it, because when people look at Bill Belichick and his coaching staff, everyone wants a part of the Patriots culture in their office. And when it hasn't worked the way it's supposed to, how people vision it, it creates a problem. That's a major problem, because a lot of people looked at it and expected, okay, we're going to have the Patriot way in our building, and it didn't work. So it scares a lot of people away, because now they're like, okay, now we got to look for the next thing. Now we got to look for the next best thing to change our culture. And a lot of people started going with these college coaches because of the plays that's being played in college, the way how they're playing in college. They want to emulate it into the NFL, and sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. So it puts a lot of people in a weird space.
So Roger, were you part of any coaching changes during your professional career?
Yeah, you guys remember Jerry Glanville? Always left tickets for Elvis's ass. But I had June Jones, and while I was with the Falcons for 3 years, 3 different defensive coordinators, 3 different three different defensive back coaches. So it did make a difference. You never got to really settle into one defense that you could master as a team or a unit because you always had a coaching change up.
Yeah.
So that makes a difference when you have a coaching change for sure.
Yeah, in college, literally halfway through my career, we had a coaching change, and it was a complete and total culture shock. I will tell you that. It went from Andy Reid to wannabe Patriots, but not really Patriots, and it sucked. It was not fun. It sucked. If you're winning, it's going to be fun, but we weren't winning. And we went from winning when it was fun, and then all of a sudden a whole new regime comes in, and everything's all militant and like 3-a-days and 5 a.m. 2-mile runs before workouts and shit and all that dumb shit. Like it's like Denzel Washington's coaching us and whatnot, and it sucked, man. It took the fun out of football.
Yeah.
You also got to look at some other things. Like Mike Vrabel is under the coaching tree. Joe Judge, Brian Flores, Nick Saban. You know what I mean? You may not be successful on the NFL level, but like when we talk about successes, there's still very successful coaches who are under the hoodie tree, which is under the massive redwood or grand oak of Bill Parcells.
All right, so let's address the elephant in the room because I love doing that shit. Is there a racial issue in Bieniemy not getting a hire?
I don't think so.
I believe so. I've heard they're trying to pull up some old college stuff. Believe it or not, Eric Bieniemy was my host at Colorado.
Oh,
I was about to say Colorado.
Oh, shit.
Goddamn, in the 90s.
Yeah, he was my host at Colorado. I took 3 trips. Colorado, because they was the first team to recruit me. And
So you've been there with Cordell and Michael Westbrook?
Who said it again?
You've been there with Cordell and Michael Westbrook?
No, he was before them. They had
Before them, yes, he sure was.
They had the quarterback that got the head coach, got Bill McCartney's daughter pregnant. The quarterback that died of cancer.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was there during that time. And, Colorado was a crazy visit, man.
Because their defense, Chad, I forget his name. Yeah, their defense. They had linebackers. They had DBs and safeties. Oh yeah, and running backs, obviously.
That was a crazy fun time in Colorado during those days.
Charles Johnson was Johnson there yet?
He was after Bieniemy.
He was after you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's clear there's always been, at 2021, I don't think, I don't give a fuck. I think it's retarded. It's just like, are you a good coach or not? Who gives a fuck, really? But, these are old white men with billions of dollars in their bank accounts, and they grew up in whole different time periods and whatnot, so they definitely clearly look at things differently. I think he should have had a head coaching job last year, so clearly there's something up. Maybe he is a bad interview. I don't know. There's got to be something because it's not like other people who aren't as successful have gotten head coaching gigs. It's like you.
Yeah, and
Adam Gase.
It's some old college shit that Bieniemy was a part of. So that's what I'm hearing. That's why he's not getting the head coaching job.
I could see that teams wanting to avoid the future possible Me Too shit and whatnot.
Some shit working.
But overall, I think there is a racial situation as far as head coaching jobs for African American coaches that deserve to be coaches and aren't getting the opportunity or the
Well, as our resident white guy, I will 100% agree with you because they still call it a black head coach. It's not just a head coach. It's no longer a black quarterback. That stopped. All right, it's just a quarterback now. So it's still referred to as a black head coach. So clearly there is still an element involved. It's obvious.
Because we still look at Eddie Robinson as the greatest black head football coach of all black coaches of all time, who coached at Grambling for 1,000 years. A football coach who knew the game. They're like, oh, is this the game? And I can coach this? Okay. well, let me get this talent and I'll just put it out, which is it's no wonder why Dougie Fresh Williams was the first quote unquote black quarterback to win the Super Bowl from under Eddie Robinson's program. Because Eddie Robinson was just a fantastic football coach and he knew how to coach the game, and he saw the talent in Doug Williams and allowed Doug Williams to be Doug Williams, coached him up. And when Doug Williams got to the league, he was highly touted, but they were still soft on giving black quarterbacks a chance. But then he got his chance, and then, Jay Stradgilly got hurt, and then we saw what he did in the Super Bowl, which is undeniable, and that could never be taken away. And let me tell you something, being a Giants fan, NFC East, I rooted for that Washington squad pretty much harder than I've rooted for any team I've ever seen play on a field, just because of the ramifications of it all, just so that we can end this bullshit like black folks ain't smart enough to play quarterback, which is stupid as hell. So, shout out to that. Now, as far as what Eric Bieniemy's past has to do with anything at all with the success he's garnering now, I don't. That's just another excuse.
Well,
to me.
Kerry, I think they're also, if you traditionally look at a team who's looking to hire a head coach, they suck. All right, you already suck. The microscope is on you. The organization probably sucks already.
We're already talking about bad ownership.
You're talking about bad ownership, so you're not really going to want to bring in some.
And here's a great example of that, because what do we say about the 49ers? The 49ers have a modicum of success throughout their tenureship in the NFL, right? And so when they hired John Lynch as the GM, we were like, interesting. Stanford guy, smart, an all-pro football player. He knows what he's doing. And what have we said about this San Francisco 49ers team, even though they've been the most decimated team in this past season? They still competed with second string, third string, fourth string quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, defensive personnel. They've competed in every single game. And that is the structure of an organization of which you want to be a part of. Because they have knowledge at every single level of the organization. They identify talent, and then they get the talent in the program, and then they develop the talent. Where you can go to this is the ultimate showcase of next man up. You go to your second and third string, and you still expect to win the game. And they've won games they absolutely should not have won. So they just identified and picked the perfect talent. So to go off of this rhetoric of what someone has done in their past or whatever, do you know football? Do you know talent? Can you identify talent, and then can you develop talent? Those are the only criteria in hiring of a coordinator or a head coach. Period.
I mean, we know this, but these are billion-dollar organizations, and they have to worry about PR campaigns and ticket sales and protesters and things of this nature.
Let me tell you something about ticket sales. It doesn't matter who's in that box. If your squad is winning, you will throw the money at it. Listen, when USC beat Alabama back in the 60s, when Alabama had 0 black players, and the black fans of Alabama had to watch from a hillside to see the stud running backs from USC destroy the all-white Alabama defense, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Hey, we need some black players up in this Alabama program." Yeah.
100%. So let's talk.
Alabama started winning. All that shit goes out the window.
All right.
All that other shit goes out the window.
All right, so let's talk another random hire that none of us know, even though we're all NFL heads. Dan Campbell is now the head coach of the Lions. They literally, Roger, you can see that it's the pendulum swing. They went from a coordinator defensive guru coordinator, unsuccessful, and now they swung, and he's never been a coordinator, but once again, this is a culture. They're trying to build a culture in Detroit, which they have had a culture there. It's called losing. They have been losing there for about 70 years. So I guess they'd have to eventually try a culture change, right?
Yeah, of course. It's, to be honest, I don't even know who Dan Campbell is. Is he black or white?
White. He's a former tight end. He's the former tight end in the league.
He was on Sean Payton's staff in New Orleans for the last 5 years.
Yes, he was.
And he's not a coordinator though.
He over for Sean Payton for a while, and at that time that was like I guess his dry run. So yeah, he was the one who took over.
Oh yeah, Roger Carey's right. Whenever Sean Payton was out for whatever reasons, he did take over, and it's the Saints. They were successful. They still had Drew Brees playing at a high level and Alvin Kamara. So it's just like, all right, well, he did good there, and the Saints are a good culture under with Drew Brees and Sean Payton. So they went with the culture thing. I just didn't. Again, it's just like, who the fuck is Dan Campbell, and why is this guy a head coach all of a sudden?
Listen, Dan Campbell fell into a beautiful situation when Sean Payton had to go out. You had all the tools in the shed. You didn't have to run to Home Depot. You know what I'm saying?
Roger, this would be right in your era. It'd be the same thing with Jimmy Johnson losing his job, and then Barry Switzer coming in with a full cupboard to cook with, right?
Exactly.
Come on now. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was only allowed to go to Grand Union, but now all of a sudden I'm getting Whole Foods products. It's like what Bill Parcells said. Like, listen, you want me to be able to cook with all these items, but I can't even go to the grocery store and shop for them. What are you talking about?
So, Roger, let me ask you something. Since this is professional football we're dealing with and billion-dollar organizations, if you have a bad organization like the Lions, is it possible to change the culture without a change in ownership?
That's probably hard to do. You're gonna have to start. It starts from the top. So if you want to change the culture, you got to start from the top. Get rid of all the bad apples, the bad seeds, and you got to start fresh and bring in some new guys, new coaches, and let the coaches in the upper management bring in their new players and things like that to change the culture.
All right. So what was it like when you were playing? How involved was the ownership? Were they like? Did you see them daily or?
Well, when I was with the Cowboys, of course, Jerry Jones had his hand in on everything, So it depends on what team. When I was with the Falcons, the owner then, can't recall his name real quick, but he wasn't in on decision making and things like. He left it all up to the head coach and player personnel to make those decisions. But again, when I was with the Cowboys, Jerry had his hand in on everything.
All right, so to build on that, what was that like? What is it, from a true insider, what is it like to have Emperor Jerry Jones over top of everything?
Man, shit. I mean, it's with the team, he was the cream of the crop, or he was the bottom of the barrel on the team, So Jerry had a way with certain guys. Some guys he barely talked to. So that's just how the cookie crumbles. So Dion, to me, it was a different story. Dion was his boy. I was just a player on his team.
That's interesting. So I'm going to end this one and open up a new one because we have to talk about with our resident ex-Jets fan, what he thinks about their new hire. So I'm going to send you a new one, and then we'll talk about the other hires real quick.
Sweet.
Nice. Look, you see the look on Nice's face? See how happy he is? Nice. If you're watching this, you're not a Jets fan anymore. If they win a Super Bowl, you don't get to celebrate. Yeah, Flea, what do you think the moratorium on Nice being a Jets fan should be? 3 years, 5 years? The whole Robert Saleh experience? Yes, he's going to say Saleh's his guy 100%, but like he's not a Jets fan anymore. Oh, I can't wait to talk. I can't wait to talk to him about this. I have so many questions. I've been waiting for this, Flea. I've been waiting for Nice on this one. This is why the NFL is so dope, because there is no off season. The off season is literally like soap operas for grown men. Yo, I cannot wait to listen to Nice try to weasel his way into being a Jets fan again.
That's what happens in abusive relationships.
All right, so Kerry, I was just talking to Flea. What's the moratorium on Nice allowed to be a Jets fan? What, 3 years, 5? The entire Robert Saleh experience.
Listen,
He's not allowed to be a Jets fan again this quick. You don't get that.
And Robert Saleh, I like him. He's solid. But let me tell you something. When you've been in an abusive relationship that long, I don't give a shit what kind of cheesecakes and strawberries they give you. Leave, run, and then wish them well from afar. You've been through that bullshit already, girl. Get up out of there and stay up out of there. So be Seattle and rock with that shit and see where that takes you.
No, there's only one. See, this is perfect. All right, these are very important questions, because there's clearly only one Jets fan amongst us. No one else is that stupid. So, Nice. Let me ask you something, and I will give you the conditions. The only way that I will allow you to be a Jets fan again so quickly is if the Seahawks do hire Adam Gase, because nobody should be put through that. Other than that, you can't jump ship this quickly. You don't get to run back because your guy is now the head coach.
Yes, they finally made a really good hire. He's a culture changer, and he's his vibe with the players is definitely there. He's gonna definitely change that culture over there to the Jets. So shout out to the Jets for getting it right finally.
Well, I think it's kind of a return to more of the Rex Ryan feel of a head coach that's going to be screaming and yelling on the sideline, going crazy,
Yep.
and the players love him. So that's the Jets culture, because that's the.
You know what I hear? Ooh, Daddy, I did good, Daddy.
Yeah.
I did good.
I mean,
I did good, Daddy.
yeah, but that was like their only successful run in the last like 60 years. So why not return to that? And plus, that was when the Jets were fun. They should hire. Robert Saleh should give Rex Ryan a call and be like, yo, you want to be the linebackers coach or something?
Yep. It would be phenomenal if that happens. They like I said, he's gonna go in there and he's gonna change the culture. It's good. They needed that. It's been years. It's about time that they get somebody in there that's actually gonna be for the players. And he's the type that he will pull each and every player to the side and really coach them. And that's what they need. That's exactly what they need, because they have been just awful.
So Roger, let me ask you something. And we won't throw anybody under the bus by name, but have you ever had a bad coach?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So clearly you had a lot of coaching changes through there. When you knew that they were done, what was it like? Was it like a lot of hope, like finally get this motherfucker out of here?
Oh yeah, for sure. When especially when the team, when you're not successful, team's not winning, and things ain't going well team wise, and there's a coaching change, and you get there's a new head coach coming, or coach, the position coach coming. You change your attitude. Picks up, and it's a better feeling, knowing that you got a better opportunity and a better coach and things like that.
So, Kerry, who do you think he hires as his defensive coordinator?
Well, I'll say this. And playing this game a long time, no matter how shitty your team is, there's not a team I've ever played on where the players don't feel like they can win every single game, point blank, period. And if we don't, the coach is fucking up. Like, I've never been on a team where I haven't felt like all the players like, yo, if we just had the right coach, fuck that, we win every game. that's just the nature of the game because you know who you are. It's a very, you know what I'm saying. You play this game from your gut and your soul if you're playing it the right way. So you want to feel like someone. So in terms of someone like him, who's coming from defense and is such a strong defensive-minded person, it would be like for the Jets to have success, it would have to be like someone who is like a Parcells, who was a defensive coach, and then you get someone like a Belichick, who then becomes your special teams person, who you realize is like your defensive coordinator. If he can identify someone like that, then that would be perfect for him. So then he could just focus on more team-wide things. Because I think when you have and I say this especially from a defensive coordinator position of someone getting a head coach, like John Fox, when he left the G's and he went to go coach Denver, he was a defensive still coordinator, and Denver was dope on defense. Their offense was iffy. And so I would think Robert Saleh would do best if he could just get someone at defensive coordinator, whoever that is. I don't know who that is right now. Who he could just give the reins to him, and then he could just run the team. Then he could see the team as a whole, and then the team will be more successful for it.
Well, nice. You guys already.
A lot of times, like what even like what we talk about what happened with your former coach. When you just get a defensive-minded team, the defense will be dope, but you got to score points, my G, in order to win in this game.
Well, nice.
You
Speaking
must.
of scoring points, you guys have already hired an offensive coordinator.
Yep.
Mike LaFleur.
Mike LaFleur.
I don't know his resume, but other than being the brother of Matt LaFleur. I don't know what's going on with that.
Also, Joe, I don't know why you said you guys. You still linked with the Jets.
I can't. My bad. It's I got a headache. Remember, I'm a little bit foggy right now.
Jesus. No, nice. The Jets hired some offensive coordinator named LaFleur something.
That team that you used to watch until they hire Adam Gase, you are a Seahawks fan.
That team you used to rock with. That you don't rock with no more.
Yeah,
You just keep tabs on them.
Yeah,
Like a good jealous boyfriend does.
All right, so what do you guys think about Urban Meyer in Jacksonville? Is this going to work?
I don't think so.
Oh, you were Roger. I want your opinion. You were quick on that. Give me what you got.
I'm firsthand watching him from the sideline and as a head coach. You know his antics and all this holding his head and all nervous and stuff. I don't know if he can handle being a pro coach just simply because he's dealing with grown men.
Grown men.
This is his first time coaching in the NFL, and he's shaky on the sideline. I can't imagine him being as nervous as he was when he was coaching at Ohio State at the professional level with the things he did. Just how his body language showed a lot during his Ohio State tenure.
Well, the one benefit he does have, Roger, kinda is it's a young roster too.
Well, the other benefit, I believe, along with what you just said, is that he's in charge of. He's got the GM title, player personnel title, and the head coach title. So he's going to be able to bring in his own crew of people. Let's see how that works.
Well, I think with all that, he's going to be more of a GM instead of a head coach, and you're looking at offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator really running the football side of things, and he's just like the braid. I wonder how long he's going to last because you're right. He was awful fidgety and had high stress issues and whatnot on the sidelines.
Well, here's the thing. It's funny that you say that because Cardell Jones, who was his third quarterback, who helped him win a national chip, albeit against but you had Ezekiel Elliott, you had other monsters, whatever. Because it's Ohio State, and you just get monsters at that school all the fucking time. So you can roll with a third-string quarterback and still have some success.
Yeah.
But Cardell was like, yeah, Urban would need everything. And then Shad Khan is the type of owner to give everything. Like, hell yeah. Which, dangerous. Because we've seen this before. and I don't want to equate it to a Nick Saban situation, but also when you factor in all the health problems that he had just at the collegiate level multiple times. There wasn't just a one-hitter quitter. He had it multiple times. And now you're dealing with grown-ass men who don't give a fuck what you got to say because you know why? They have a fucking contract. And so...
Is Tom Coughlin still in that organization, though? Is he still involved with that?
See, that I don't know. And I was wondering, I don't see it.
I thought he was just more of like a football operations guy now. He's not really like the GM role.
Now he would just really be like a consultant.
He does have one. I'm already reading it. He has a mentor and a consultant, and it's Jimmy Johnson.
So he's like I said, he's a consultant.
So now he's got Jimmy Johnson. Myers already said that like Jimmy Johnson is going to be mentoring him through this whole process. So I don't know.
So I don't know if Tom Coughlin will stay on as this consultant.
No,
I don't see him. I see Jimmy Johnson being more of a guy because Jimmy Johnson went from a Miami program up to the league and had success. I think that's a beautiful consultantship. Not Tom Coughlin. He's the wrong mentor.
Yeah, Roger, you got to remember, they put Tom Coughlin down there after they had made a run to the AFC Championship, right? They're like, oh, let's build the culture now. We got a good roster, and then they just collapsed.
No. Tom Coughlin was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was the one
that shit.
He was the one who built that.
No, Tom Coughlin was the one to help build that.
Well, what the fuck happened?
Blake Bortles.
Yep, they messed up with
Blake Bortles.
He was a bust.
Yo, you see, Roger, you see exactly how difficult it is on the professional level when you make a bad pick at quarterback.
Tom Coughlin did his job.
It sets the program back when you make a bad pick.
Yeah.
For years, the Browns are finally. Everybody was mad about them picking Baker Mayfield, but they did good by picking Baker Mayfield.
It'll set the franchise back 5 to 10 years when you pick the wrong QB. Chicago Bears.
So nice. What does it feel like to root for a franchise who consistently picks the wrong quarterback? What is it like?
It's terrible, man. It's bad. It's really bad. But hopefully they get it right.
Got it right with Joey Namath.
It's all bad. Joey Namath was just lucky at that. Yeah.
That was the
really
60s.
He was lucky that year, man. But they picked a lot of bad quarterbacks, and I mean, hopefully they get it right. Hopefully they do the right thing this time around.
All right, so the next hire on the list is Arthur Smith for the Atlanta Falcons. So he's the one who built.
He's like an undercover hero who picks like the blandest name. It's like
no. So Arthur Smith is.
Who is Arthur Smith?
He's the one who built the Titans offense and revived Ryan Tannehill's career.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, so is he the one who picked the offensive lineman?
I don't know. I mean, this is I'm
not going to give anybody.
I'm asking you guys the same question. And who the fuck is Arthur Smith? I have to read it to tell you who.
Give him credit for rebuilding Tannehill's career. I'm not going to give him that.
Well, they are giving him credit for that, and he does have a few years of experience underneath of the whole Vrabel head coaching thing. So now they're looking at that as the coaching tree, the culture change coaching tree. You see how that's working now. So, and Kerry, Roger, nice. We all have to agree. Mike Vrabel gets into Tennessee, and all of a sudden, they're good.
Yeah.
Culture change.
Culture change immediately.
We'll see what he does because he already said the first thing he said is everything's on the table, including Julio and Matt Ryan. He's not committed to anything. So we'll see. Because I know Matt Ryan's contract is outrageously huge for his output on the field. So how do you even get out from under it? Who fucking knows? Who knows? So there's the whole Brandon Staley thing. That one still blows my mind. You got that roster is so low. There's so much potential. Who the fuck is this guy? Why did you get the job for the Chargers of all people? Like,
honestly, I would have loved that to see it. I would have loved Eric Bieniemy to go there. We talked about Eric Bieniemy going to Houston. I know that we've done that, but I would have loved Eric Bieniemy to go there.
Yeah, there because you've got the quarterback to still run and the receivers to still run that same style of offense. And even if it wasn't him, we talked about multiple people that would have fit there instead of this guy. We've never said this guy's name ever. This is a whole season of football, and we're only saying it because I'm asking you who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I mean, that's the head coaching changes for now. You still have Bieniemy is going to get interviewed by the Texans, and like I said, if they want to keep Deshaun Watson, they're going to have to hire him. And then that still leaves the one that doesn't make any sense to me is Brian Daboll not be getting a head coaching gig with what he has done in Buffalo with Josh Allen and that offense.
Because we talked about Brian Daboll maybe even going to L.A.
That was the one. That's what we talked about. Like, look what you did with Josh Allen, a big, strong-arm, young quarterback. Go do the same thing.
To be Brian Daboll, but also we also talked about it being a situation where people were waiting to see where Eric Bieniemy landed, but being that the Chiefs are still matriculating through the playoffs, teams can't wait for that. They need to get their guy in place to get their program going, and it's just so now it's almost becoming an atmosphere where can Eric Bieniemy even land?
Houston.
So it's like if he wants a head coaching job, then he just has to accept what's left.
No, it'll be Houston. So nice. Do you regret not being a Jets fan anymore now? Are you like? Is there buyer's remorse? Are you sad?
I mean, no. I'm just more happy for them. I'm happy for them.
I love that answer.
Their culture gonna change. They're finally gonna be a winning football team.
I mean,
it's not gonna be right away, but eventually they will be.
I mean, I hate seeing teams mire in mediocrity consistently over and over and over again. It gets old. It's fun to see the Browns and Bills winning football right now. It's fun. It's like, it's actually, I won't say it's fun because it's personal to me, but it is satisfying to see the Patriots not in the playoffs and in championship games right now. It's just like, finally, let's see what the next stage is. And we get to see that with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, even though Patrick Mahomes has already established himself. But I just, these head coaching changes. So, Roger, what's it like as a professional when you're waiting for them to hire somebody? That'd be really weird. You're just sitting there like, I wonder what it's going to be like next week.
Yep.
Well, in my situation, it was a coach that was already in the organization. June Jones was already the offensive coordinator at the time. Sometimes the problem is when you get a offensive coordinator who becomes the head coach, he doesn't do a great job of finding the right defensive coach to run your defense. He might be a good offensive coach, but defense wins games, wins championships. And so, like I said, when I was in Atlanta, we had three different schemes, three different defensive coordinators, and it kind of it sets the team back, from guys progressing in as a unit.
Well, I imagine. So, did you guys, when they switched schemes, was there a switch from like a 3-4 to a 4-3 or something like that as the base? Because then you're looking at roster issues because you aren't built for that.
Definitely. Roster shift, like you said, the scheme changes, and you definitely got to put the right player in the right spot to make plays so you can win games.
Yeah, that's interesting to have that many switches because they never talk about it on defense. It's only talked about as an offensive coordinator for the quarterback. The quarterback has had a different head coach, like 3. They always talk about that with Baker, and no one ever talks about it like, no, they've had like 7 defensive coordinators in the last decade. Like, that's got to be maddening, because I imagine that your playbook is pretty goddamn thick on the NFL level, even on the defensive side, and especially because defense is traditionally a reactive side of football. You're reacting to what's happening in front of you.
Yeah.
You do dictate things sometimes, but you're more reacting, especially in the secondary. You know, Roger, you're something's got to happen before you, unless you're blitzing before you to do something, right? You know, so it'll be interesting to see how these young head coaches fare. I think Brandon Staley, I don't think it even matters. Just don't make the same coaching decisions that Anthony Lynn did, and you guys are going to win football games, because your roster is absolutely loaded.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely loaded. Anthony Lynn lost them at least 3 games with stupid decisions on the last drives alone. So that'll be really interesting. I don't know how
for Anthony Lynn, because I wanted him to get that thing going, but then it came a point in time when I'm like, you're not making smart football decisions, my G, and I can't, and I literally just cannot, because you're making dumb football decisions.
no, you were losing games with these decisions that you were making in game.
I want to ride with you as much as I can, but I'm like, you fucking up the talent in front of you.
All right, so nice. Real quick, who makes it to the Super Bowl?
I say will be, the way I was looking right now, I would go with the Bills and the Bucks.
Ah, nice. I like that. Roger.
Oh, that's a tough one, man. With the Chiefs, with the Bills, oh man, I would go with, especially if Mahomes is shaky, I'm going with the Bills, with the defense and the Bills' high-powered offense, versus I'm going with the Packs over the Bucks, man, with Aaron Rodgers and that high-potent offense, and they working there on all cylinders are going, and Bucks. Not a lot of players have been to the next level as time the GOAT has. So I'm going with the Packers and the Bills.
Carrie.
Super.
If anyone has listened to any word I've said, you clearly know is Green Bay and the motherfucking Bills. Like, yeah, I don't have to go into explanations. You've heard what I said.
All right, so I mean, for me, on paper, it said on paper now. Paper football, not reality. It says Kansas City and Green Bay, right? All things considered, everyone's healthy. But football, momentum, the emotion, the stories behind things, experience and everything, I'm going the exact opposite way. Bucks and Bills.
Yep.
Bucks.
That's what I'm going with. Bucks and Bills.
Which will be, I mean, it.
All right, so it's me and you, Rod.
Yeah,
I see it. All right.
There you go.
Versus Joe, the engineer, and Nice, the future.
All right, so what we'll see, Nice, is if my 20 years, we'll see if my 20 years of Patriots fandom and your 20 years of Jets fandom will equal out somehow, and you won't pull us down too far with the dark hole that you've been existing in for the last 30 years, I guess. So, guys, you already know I appreciate your time, as always, especially since I am low energy today. It's all good. You guys held it down. I appreciate it. We will see what happens. Nice. I hope we're right, man. You're not a Jets fan anymore, so now that you're out of the evil empire, we should be right. Yeah, Bucks and Bills. Go Bucks.
Yeah.
All right.
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. All right. I will be in touch with everybody.
Peace.
All right, so, I'm going to go do some other shit. That was a long one. I appreciate everybody stopping through. As you know, RIPP 333, and I'm out.